This is the Levels Network. I'm Justin Horo, joined by the Triple OG Willie Mason and the Bro Lucas. So we are back from Magic Round. And yes, we are delayed by a day, but geez, there was a whole heap going on.
Very, very busy 4 days. So we had a lot to do. We nailed it. Now we're back here. Get back into normality a little bit.
Magic Round is the reset that we need, isn't
Fucking
it?
oath.
It's like the rugby league reset.
Yeah.
You have more things going on around Origin time than we probably do as a podcast. But this is a good time for us to get through the first chunk of the season.
It is, first quarter.
Reset. We've been, pretty good up until this point as well with regards to both of us. We've been
consuming.
We've been off the drink for a while as well. Have a bit of a blowout. Realise that we don't miss it as much as we think.
I'm done. I'm done till like our Ashes tour.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't need it. It's fucked.
We'll get together. We'll start training and that again soon. And
give ourselves a couple of days just to go.
In saying that, such a good weekend.
It was great. Star City was amazing. Red Bull's amazing. Suncorp was great. Everything that we did was fun.
Yeah.
There was never a dull moment where we were just sitting around just going, oh, I'm bored. It was unreal, wasn't it?
Before we get into the thank yous, can you just grab the aircon for us? Turn the aircon on. So the thank yous.
Yep.
Firstly, our partners Red Bull, and for everyone who turned up to the Red Bull stage over the 3 days. Kicked it off with the women's game on Thursday night, and Ivania Palete, she was awesome.
Yeah, she was
talked about the unique situation that women go through with pregnancies and how you got to balance that between family decisions. A really good chat with Tom Flegler.
Fucking loved it.
The next day. Just can't wait and just hope we can see Tom Flegler back at his best.
A lot of us, including us too, we just want to know what's going on. What's the rehab? Are you going to come back, kid? Like, are you going to, and he's close.
Yep.
He's close. So he'd be pushing for the end of the year maybe?
Next year,
definitely 100% next year.
I don't think you could say 100% with the injury.
Yeah, it's nerve damage. It's a different level.
But he said there is starting to get some feeling back in there. He's gone through the process. I think, you asked him the question around at one point, was it doom and gloom and was there a chance you wouldn't come back? I think there was for a while, but it's starting to look positive now.
Okay.
And he says he is very hopeful of being ready for the start of next season. So, just absolutely loved him as a player. Loved playing against Alex Glenn, who jumped on last minute for us as well.
Really good.
And then on the Saturday, to wrap it up, we had our good mate Foz, who we both played with, does work for us here on Levels. And Courtney Atkinson talked to us about the journey of being an endurance athlete. Absolutely loves his footy. He's a Queensland boy, and he was unreal. So thank you to everyone at Red Bull and the team and everyone who turned up. It was just packed. Every day we were up there. So also want to give a huge thank you to the team at the Star in Brisbane. They looked after us a treat. So after that, on Saturday, we went and did a show there, Mace, on Saturday and Sunday.
That was ridiculous, wasn't it?
That set up for Fanland.
Yeah.
Me and Lukey started talking about it first thing on Saturday, how do we do more gigs here? There's such a good space to do more things. And we met all the team there. Yep. They looked after us. And we've even got the contacts of a few higher ups, so there could be something in the works.
Kelvin, the CEO there, he's a go-getter. He had plenty of ideas for us. So moving forward, the connection up there with the Star Brisbane, I think we'll be doing some more things up there.
I think so.
Because that is just the best Star City I've been to in Australia.
Just that fit out up the top. It's such a good
built
space.
For just saying, Origin, right? Origin is a perfect moment. Not everybody can afford a ticket at Suncorp. Not everybody can get a ticket at Suncorp for the game one. But, mate, you could fit 1,000 people there and watch that massive screen and have the time of your life.
It's probably and this is – I remember watching it. The quality of the sound for an outdoor venue
unbelievable,
and the picture quality was the best. And not just saying this because we did a gig with them. That was the one thing that was noticeable because I still had to watch all the footy on Saturday and Sunday, obviously. So did you, Mace. And I didn't feel like I was missing out on the games. Normally when I'm in the crowd and I watch games at a pub or whatever it may be, I'm like, I've got to go back and watch it. I didn't have to go back and rewatch any of the games from Saturday and Sundays. We missed some games on the 2 games on Friday because of the streams, so I had to go back and watch them yesterday. That's why we were delayed a little bit. But the setup at the start was unbelievable.
Brilliant.
Shout out to Chapo. Yeah. She joined us as well after playing on Thursday night for the Women's Origin. Absolute character. She was funny on and off the mic. Man. She was sort of funny. Once we got a little bit of time, we're sitting up the top, and I always say, for any young players or women or men, Mace is one of the all-time characters, and you got to be. Mace keeps you on your toes, and she handled it really well. Yeah. She was really good.
She's cool, man.
And then lastly, shout out to Caxton Brewing Co. for hosting our podcast on Friday morning. This comment comes from CJH94. Viewer since day one, and boys, I got to say, we need the live show from the pub as a monthly edition, or at least every couple of months on for big games. Honestly, Mace on the mic after a couple of cold ones.
That was normal.
Is my new favourite character. Throw Matty Johns in there with his yarns and at Origin, and you'd have sports friends from every code tuning in after the clips go viral. Great show, brothers. Thank you, CJ. Thank you. A big shout out to Caxton Brewing Co. for hosting us. They got it done in the morning there Friday, and they just were very accommodating to us. So, big thank you to everyone who, not only helped us out, shows we did, turned up, but just the fans. We're just getting amongst it. It's always good to have pictures with people who appreciate the potty. So many L1s from day one, and that leads me to the Lions tour that we've got at the end of the year. Shout out to Callum, who come up to us.
He did.
He was at Fanland. He come up to us. He had put in his deposit with one of his mates, and it's just good to meet people that are going to be with us for the tour, for the Rennie. He's jumped on the ashesrl.com.au tour. He'll be with us at the end of the year. We had a number of other people that signed up, and it was just good to see Callum. And also, he's been an L1 from day one, loves the content, and we got to have a beer with him and have a good time on the Saturday night. So looking forward to catching up. What about just
the whole vibe of Magic Round? Like going down Caxton, we were lucky. I'm not lucky enough, but like we didn't really have to go down Caxton. I had to do it once. I got dropped off once and had to get to Suncorp because he couldn't get anywhere else, and it was jammed on that Saturday.
Pumping.
And it took me, I felt rude.
Ducking and weaving?
Yeah, but otherwise I would have been late. You know what I'm like? I would have had the photo with everyone. I said, I just can't. You got to get down to Suncorp. And it was just absolutely heaving the Caxton all the way down, the pubs on the corners. It was nonstop.
Yeah,
it was just a vibe, isn't it? Like, it's crazy.
It's
just the love, and like everyone's in such a good mood. It's not Origin. There's no hatred. Everyone's wearing their jerseys. You see Perth Reds jerseys. You see North Sydney Bears were coming out of the woodworks. All the old school jerseys. It's just an awesome weekend. It's the best weekend of the year.
Yeah, you know what's going to be the other best weekends of the year? Our Lions tour chat. That's going to be the vibes around Wembley. That's going to be the vibes around Everton.
Yes.
And that's going to be the vibes around Headingley for the decider.
Yeah.
Because there are 3 games, and I'm telling you now, I'm getting this vibe. I keep saying it. The decider will be at Headingley. We have tickets to Everton and Headingley, and they are sold out currently. So what you're going to do is Lukey has shared the link, ashesrl.com.au. Go on there, have a look at the 2 packages. Well, there's 3 packages available. There's all 3 games, and then there's the first 2 games, and then there's the last 2 games. So you've got some options. Do you want to spend 3 weeks with us? Do you want to spend 2? Do you want to watch an Ashes decider? That's what it's all about. All right, speaking of players who there will be this player for your OG Bull of the week is not only in contention for the Ashes tour at the end of the year, but he is contention, in my opinion, for New South Wales Origin again this year. Your Red Bull OG
I've got to crack that OG Red Bull too.
Yeah, they cracked that.
Teddy Tedesco. He was outstanding. The Dolphins have beaten the last 2 grand finalists. That's the reason why I'm picking him. 271 metres ran. line break assists, try assist, everything. Filled the whole stat sheet up. He's playing outstanding. He's putting pressure on Dylan Edwards for that origin spot. He has to be. He has to be.
He definitely applied the pressure on Friday night, didn't he?
Yeah.
Dylan answered it.
Dylan answered it, and they won. I think, I'm pretty sure they're going to go with Dylan because he's an absolute gun. And Teddy has had his time in origin. But Edwards has been susceptible to injury, right? If he's down, is it Teddy or is it Pappy?
Ooh, that's
the only two that's coming into mind.
I think it's Teddy for all the reasons you said because he's been there and done it before.
And he's just playing outstanding. I think he's just found his role. I mean, just because of those players that have left in the last couple of years.
Yep.
We always talk about their ball hawks. They get the ball a lot. And so is Teddy's one of them as well. But like he's getting more quality ball in different positions. He seems a lot harder to tackle. The footwork through the middle, line breaks, he seems just harder to tackle.
He's in good nick at the moment.
Did you see his interview while we're up there on the weekend that went sort of viral with Channel 9?
No, what do you say?
Oh, this is a good one for you. Let me get it.
Okay.
All right.
You do realise that now a lot of the discussion is going to be talking about state of origin.
I know, I've been on the other side of it for years. When you're the incumbent, everyone talks about everyone else's form. But for myself, I just haven't really given it too much thought or energy. I feel like I've just been focusing on my game and for the Roosters and trying to lead by example. And I personally don't think they'll make too many changes, but I think that's freed me up mentally, just going out and playing footy, enjoying myself.
Is that something that it can weigh on your mind a little bit, sort of in this period of the season?
Yeah, I mean, the number of years that I was fullback, every year there's always talk about people in form or
someone taking
the
your
position,
spot.
especially in the spine. It's the most talked about thing in the game leading into Origin. So I felt that pressure on the other side, but I've sort of I feel that pressure this time. It's obviously Dill's position, and I'm just going out and playing my game.
Yeah, he
Well
said that.
said.
He said that in the presser after as well.
Yeah,
and you can fully. That's what I said. I think he was your OG ball a couple of weeks ago as well, and it said the same thing. It's
But
it's freed him. It's freed him up.
but he knows like how Origin works. It's Dylan's spot to lose.
Yes,
So
the pressure
he's done the
associated
job.
with
So
that,
he's done the job last year. It's his to lose or injuries. Other than that, they're not going to change the side because there's been some years, even last couple of years, and people like, oh, when's Dylan Edwards going to get his crack?
and Turbo and Latrell.
Yeah, like you're talking like 22, 23, 24. He's still the incumbent.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck, when's Dylan going to get a go? Now he's on the opposite side. He's just playing his game, mentally released from that subconsciously, and he's just front loading into the Roosters, and look what's happening. The Roosters will be happy with that.
Yeah, the Roosters will be stoked. Yeah, and then also
He's the reason why they're going that good.
we keep saying, and we've said this before about the Penrith team, how they've gone through the last 5 years of playing rep footy plus long seasons. Teddy was doing that for years before that, and him not playing in the internationals at the end of the year and the last two Origins for sure has just revitalised him.
Yep.
It's revitalised him.
Yes.
It's bringing out the best footy. So, Teddy, unbelievable. All right, Scopes Young Buck fits into the criteria because of games.
It's a weird criteria, this one.
This is a weird criteria, and this is why I allowed myself for it, because I love these stories of
Yes. Start again.
preservation?
Perseverance.
Perseverance. I don't know. Keep going.
All right.
All right. It is a good friend, family friend, Zach Docker Clay.
Well deserved. Is that
Well
it's
deserved.
Not family, just not because he's your cousin.
He's not a cousin, but he's a family friend.
He's a cuzzy. He's a cuzzy.
He's a cuzzy.
He's a cuzzy.
But known Zachy since he was a kid. 30 years old and only 28 games. So for people that aren't aware of his story, star player as a kid. He was just an absolute weapon, dominated his age group, and he never grew. He's just like this little pocket rocket. You know him, Mace, because he spent some time at the Bulldogs, which we'll get to in a bit. And he just bounced around at multiple clubs because he was always so talented. But just the size, he's like, we talk about some of these players and the players that I love who just persevere.
Yeah.
Just keep hanging in there, keep fighting. And that's what he's done. He started off in the Parramatta comp. He was at Penrith. He was at come back to Parramatta. He was at Manly for a bit. He even finally got an opportunity, right? He gets to your Bulldogs.
Sorry, was that before the Dogs?
This is he's 30, Mace. So
No.
he's played it.
Fuck.
He's pretty much ticked every club, pretty
Okay.
much in Sydney. So he finally gets to the Dogs and gets a crack, makes his debut in 2022. He plays 14 games at the back end of the season and is actually playing okay.
He played all right.
He's playing in that little hybrid role.
Yep.
Wasn't re-signed, so he got an opportunity to go to North Sydney in 2023 and played the entire year in New South Wales Cup. Killed it. Had a really good season, but people were still just unsure, is he big enough? The rule changes in the game and the, I guess, importance of versatility has really helped him out.
Yep.
The last couple of years, Robbo rewarded him with a really good season in 2023. I think he got upgraded into a development contract. Goes on, plays about 10 games last year, and he's been on the bench for almost every game this year.
Yep.
He even had an opportunity to start when Connor Watson missed the game with HIA after the Warriors game. But to come off the bench, and the stats are not going to blow you away, but it's more about the story.
Yep.
When you got to play 10 to 15 minutes every game, and there was a game a couple of weeks ago where he didn't even play him.
Yeah.
Robbo didn't even play him. He wasn't used off the bench. I think it might have been the
St George?
I think it might have been the second Penrith game.
Okay.
He wasn't required in that game. Penrith got to a lead and Robbo didn't put him on. But to come off the bench and play 74 minutes when you're on for Sandon Smith. Sandon Smith is removed. Connor Watson goes to the halves, and you've got to play 74 minutes in the middle.
That's massive.
Shout out to my man Zachy. Like I said, a part of it too is that he's a family friend, and when you're a part of the journey and see the journey, you know how much a guy rips in and how much he hangs in there. And even going back to our run club, Lukey,
Yeah, he's doing that
a couple of years ago when at that point he didn't have a club.
No.
But we were doing some run clubs in the off season, and he come and joined us and pumped out 5K just because he was trying to keep active. So, shout out to my boy Zachy. I hope he gets more games this year. Robbo has continually used him, and if you keep coming up with performances like this, you'll get a few more games. You'll start to tick away at those.
I don't think your average Joe understands what Zach Docker Clay goes through, right?
These sorts of players.
Yeah, these sorts of players, they train as hard as the best players in the club, right? Do everything and probably more just to try and get in first grade. He's 30 years old. He's not 24. He's not 22 or anything like that. You're right at the end of it. He's still battling along. You only played 28 games. You're training your ass off, turning up to every session. And then you train with first grade all week and then go back to reserve grade when he was doing that last year. Do you know what I mean? It's such a hard grind. And he wouldn't be on massive coin.
No.
And you're you could probably go and, work in the mines or something like that and probably get more money.
Yes.
Easily.
Yep. He would have been in training trial contracts for a while.
But to stay in this and to persevere and the resilience and everything like that, that's what's paying off now.
Yep.
Well done.
So perseverance is the word I was looking for a young buck and a 28 gamer. Shout out to my boy Zachy. All right, let's get to the replies. And we had a lot of people fired up and a lot of people loved your take on David Fifita. This one comes from Daniel Robinson. Hey, boys, love the real talk and advice for the Triple OG for David Fifita. Do you think the real reason Fifita turned down the Roosters and Penrith contracts offers last year was in part because he wanted to stay in his comfort zone at the Gold Coast? Would things be going differently if he had challenged himself in a different environment with a different coach?
Yes.
We'll get to that, and then we'll get to the next little bit after that.
I think so.
Yeah.
If he goes down to Penrith and signs with Cleary and being in that culture and it's driven really hard, doesn't matter about your talent or anything like that, there's standards set there, he would have to change his whole demeanour and his character and his work ethic. Because there's questions around that. There's been questions around that for years, how hard he trains and everything like that.
Work ethic's the biggest one.
Work ethic, exactly. So, if he had gone down there, he would have been going at what? Liam Martin, Sorensen, Yowie, Leota, all these animals, right? One comps, they know what it takes. Even with the Roosters, it's a culture there that's been set there for 10 or 15 years with Robbo.
Yeah.
They work hard, they train hard, they just do everything flat out. Hargraves would have been there. No, not for this year, no. Not for this year. But you got guys like
Going back to Sorensen, your train of thought. Going back to Sorensen, he's the perfect example of what David Fifita would benefit from being around a guy like that. Because Sorensen wasn't the toughest. He's another guy with perseverance as well. He didn't get everything go his way to begin with, but he's worked really hard for it. He would be the left edge back row that Dave would have to go past to get that spot, and he would have been the perfect guy for Dave to see train week in, week out, day in, day out, and go, geez, he's not the most talented, but he's got 3 premierships.
Yep.
And that's, you know, whether that extra motivation. Also, just removing yourself from the comfort zone of not only the Gold Coast, but you know what it's like, Mace, when you're at a club and you've been around the system for a while, you know the trainers, you know the coaches.
Get away with a little bit.
There's a little bit of grey area, right? Once you establish yourself, you start to figure out where your grey area goes. Yeah. You start to know what you can get away with, who's your ally, who's not an ally, like who's against you. Not against you, but as in, like, you know you can't get away with shit in front of a certain trainer or a coach or whatever it may be.
Back to the Roosters, Victor Radley, Crichton, Spencer Leniu. That's who he would have been going against when you're doing all this forward shit. And Spencer and him have had a bit of a run-in all the time. They would have went hard at training. Victor Radley would be going hard at training at him. Like, he's probably not used to that up there, up at the Gold Coast. They probably don't.
Tino?
And, I mean, Tino, he probably wouldn't go at Tino. Do you know what I mean? Tino would probably be going at him, but I doubt that he's going at Tino. He's not looking for that contact. Do you know what I mean? But, like, he must be just happy up there, just doing his thing, getting paid over $1 million. You know, like, if he'd give the fuck, he would have carved reserve grade up.
So the stats have come back from Dave as well, and they weren't poor, but they weren't great.
5 fucking hit-ups from 49 metres.
No, it was more than that. Someone's
bring
giving
it
you
up.
someone's gave there. We got the stats. It's more than that. It was maybe like 9 or 10 carries for like 90. But that's not.
That's fucking terrible.
But you can't say 5 for 40 and it's not fight like
9 runs for 58 metres, 3 tackle breaks, 19 tackles. 80 minutes.
Yeah.
9 hit-ups for 58 metres.
I know that's not good enough. But you just can't say 5 carries, even though it's you know, like it's not good. It's not good for him, and that was your biggest concern. What he was going to do when he went back down.
I expected like 3 line breaks, 200 metres, 25 tackles, 80 minutes.
See, I'm not even expecting the line breaks or tackle breaks, but I just want more effort. Like I want to see 15 carry. I wouldn't give it here's the thing. Even though he's destructive as all hell, it wouldn't even bother me if he had 20 carries for 60 metres. It's the intent, right? That's what you're looking for.
Yep.
Did you watch the 360 last night?
No.
So Buzz came out and said he went up to Des and said, I want to play left edge.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about that before. So that was a part of the decision, was him going left edge. You reckon? I don't know. Like sometimes I've
always talked about him on the left edge.
Yeah.
He carries the ball in his right hand.
Yeah.
He doesn't. Like, Beau Fermor carries the ball in his left hand. So if you're a right arm carry playing on the left side, like, it's easier. You get easier target. He's just hitting your hips because he's got that bump, and then just like they all come from the inside. On the right side, he's dangerous because he's a right arm carry, right step, left palm. He needs to change hands. He's got the skill set to do that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't naturally happen for him. So he needs to work on that shit. When he was a young kid, he probably didn't have to work on fucking anything. He just destroyed teams.
Just ran over everyone.
Just ran over everyone.
Yeah.
Now you got to fucking work hard. Talent versus hard work. Right? Talent will get you to where his talent got him to one of the best forwards in the game. Now you got to work hard on the littlest things, and that's fucking coaching, and that's mentoring, and that's people around him. He's got the fucking wrong people around him. I'm not sure fucking Des is doing the right thing by him. I'm not sure.
Well, do you rate
that's a hard one without being inside the 4 walls, mate. It's hard to really be critical of the people.
Why the fuck is it like why is he in reserve grade? Why is he coming out with games of like when he touched the ball 5 times in a first grade game?
Yeah, I've got another comp for you. So Stevie T wrote this off the back of your comments, Mace. When Mace compared him to Dave Taylor, that hurts. Dave was a brilliant player, but let himself go. Truer words said, Mace. He needs to knuckle down. Fifita is a brilliant talent. Like Bellamy says, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't want to work. I reckon he's more like Tony Williams. And Des coached Tony as well. Tony, I went to school with Tony coming through. He was an absolute weapon. And it's less about them blowing out And in the sense, and don't get me wrong, when I'm comparing these two guys,
No, that's a better comp.
David Fifita and Tony Williams were way better than I ever was as a player. But my thing was, when I used to watch Rexy sometimes, and because knowing him with high school, I was like, similar to Dave, was like, he just doesn't look interested. And not with Dave, the reason I'm going away from Dave, I reckon Dave's habits away from footy led to his inconsistency. Like the weight he put on was the reason. Whereas like Tony and Fifita are still in good, they look like they're in decent footy.
Always
Nick.
in good.
You know what I mean? Big, strong, didn't like Rexy didn't blow out ever, like, and look bloated. And that's where I look at Dave. It's just like sometimes it looks like, and this sucks, like they just a rat's ass. Like
T-Rex, I mean, Tony Williams was an ex-winger as well, so it took him a while to acclimatise to the back row.
But he was, remember the year in 2012? Destructive, made Origin.
Yeah, Australia. No, 2011. 2011. Made the Australian Kangaroo Tour and everything.
Yep.
2012, 13, then just sort of fell off, and he was like an absolute wrecking ball.
Yeah.
And like, so those three are pretty much in the same category. I put them all in the same category. Talent out their ass, can do whatever the fuck they want. It's just when they want to do it.
If they flick a switch, can just destroy anyone.
Yeah, and they just need to find that consistency. And that's why I say I'll put it down to the coaching and the people around him. Like, you've got to motivate these guys 24/7.
They've had two different staffs. Like, and I keep going, this is why I think you got to be careful when you critiquing staff and all this sort of stuff. Like, he's had two staff now, two different. Holbrook, he had the Holbrook regime. Now you got Desi. Like, yes, coaching is crucial and it plays a part. But at the end of the day, it's, mate, when coaches aren't with you, Mace, it's up to the individual to make sure that they're doing the right things.
He just needs extra attention. He does. Some players need extra attention. Some players need fucking zero. You don't have to tell a Marco Mealy to rip in or anything like that. You don't have to tell Payne Haas to run straight and fucking set standards, but you need to talk to him before games all week, set standards for him, right? I need 20 hit-ups. Like I need you to get the ball 20 times. If you don't get the ball 20 times, then there's repercussions. There's no repercussions for his actions, obviously.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, if you got dropped reserve grade, but like it takes a while, doesn't it?
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Looks like they're going to be getting some players back this week as well. So we'll see if the inclusions of potentially Jaden Campbell and Foz, who we'll be having a chat to this week as well.
But at the end of the day, I rate him highly. And the only reason why
I know you do. That's why you get passionate about him.
I'm harsh on him because I just don't want to see him waste his talent because he has potential. Like, and he showed us all how. And you know what the bad thing is with some of these players? When they show you what they can do and then polar opposite, it's fucking
that's frustrating.
So glaring. You can see it. You're like, how do you go from that to that? So it's in here.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's what's more disappointing. I've seen him single-handedly destroy teams by himself, and then the next week, 5 hit-ups.
Well, we've seen it this year. So the game before the Dragons game, what was it? And we were critical of him. Forget who it was. Lukey, can you have a look at the game before the Dragons? Then the next week he comes out, and I called that game. He destroyed St. George Illawarra, and they still lost the game. And he was fighting all the way to the depth in that game. Like he kept on going and punching through, even when the game was gone. I think he set up a try off a kickoff.
He went off at him and Bird were going at it.
Who? Jack
Bird.
No, Jack Bird plays at the Tigers now. This is against the Dragons. So the week
was
before,
one of the Dragons was
they
going at
played
him.
Dolphins. They lost 36-10. Then they played the Roosters. They beat the Roosters 30-12.
No, go back to the Dragons game.
Dragons was round 6, 38-16.
Who was the game before?
Dolphins.
Yeah, he was poor in that game. But yeah, so yeah, you're right. That's the frustrating part for everyone involved, is that like he's got that performance in him, and then for whatever reason, and here's another part as well, just where the Titans are at and how yeah, it can be frustrating at times as a player when you're looking around and they've got a shitload of injuries and to key positions and they're not hanging in games and they're blowing out and they're going through these circuits. But like you are the most. You're a player who's on the most money at the club. You have to be the leader to get your teams out of that position. So that's one of the more frustrating parts about Dave's game for sure. All right, let's get to this one from Johansson, 91. This one's a Fogarty replacement. L1 since day one. Love your work. Surely Sticky tries to lure the likes of Foran to the Raiders as the veteran halfback for Canberra. He has the pedigree and leadership Raiders are crying out for. It's not a bad shout for Fozzie.
Not a bad shout.
I don't think it would ever happen.
No. You don't know, but like Sticky has got a lot of pull, but do you want to move from the Gold Coast to Canberra? Probably not.
I think so. With the family situation for Foz, you got to consider that as well. He's pretty settled up on the Gold Coast. Yeah. But as a player comp to a coach, and for a coach who would absolutely love a guy like Kieran Foran, if you're trying to give
get him
Sanders another year.
Yeah. That's a good shout, but I just don't think he would move.
Yeah.
He'd be great for Canberra.
He would
be great.
He'd
awesome. That's probably one of the players that could get him over the bump. Like they're a genuine title contender this year.
Yep.
With Fogarty.
Yep.
All right. So Fozzie. I think he's got one or two left in him.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Whether Foz wants to play on or not, or what that looks like. Whether he wants to go to Canberra and spend his last year in Canberra, who knows? How about this one? I'm just thinking about this now because I'm reading out the name. Fogarty's going to Manly. Ches still isn't signed. Imagine Ches with that Canberra team.
He'd be looking at it, surely.
I doubt it. But like, I'm just
Sticky would fucking
How would Sticky go with Ches?
No one's Sticky. I just don't think he'd like him that much.
But what about
just
the personality? Would the personality clashes between them?
Yeah,
because
I think you can just put that away to the side, right, and just worry about winning games.
Yeah, fucking oath you could.
Yeah,
Sticky wants to win down in Canberra and win a comp.
That's gone quiet, hasn't it? DCE talk, but
well, there's plenty of Roosters chat while we were away last week.
Yeah,
sort of makes sense now.
What, the Roosters chat?
Yeah. Not really, actually, because of the Smith kid.
Yeah. Sanders Smith,
Sam
Walker.
Killing it.
Savala looks all right.
Yeah, they don't look like – I think that Savala looks all right.
And people thought I was just sticking up with Ches because of our relationship. And I keep telling people we'll never got any info around it. But
I still think
I think
Titans. All right, I said at the start.
Titans?
Yeah.
I think there's like a genuine chance that he gets to like sees how a few dominoes plays out, and then if it's not worth it because he's earned so much good money over the years, then he might just happily sail away.
Oh. Well.
Do you think teams are waiting for see how good his Origin campaign is, or if he makes it? Because that'd make a difference. Technically, price as well.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Like if he's not playing Origin, just like the way we view Teddy now and the form that Teddy's in, if he goes through a really strong Origin period whilst being left out and Tommy Dearden goes well, yeah, that'd be more appealing to teams for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of Fozzie, off the back of this chat, as a Jamal Fogarty replacement, maybe we'll have to ask him. So get your questions in for Athlete this week. We have been going to Instagram, but let's get back to good questions coming from our YouTube community. That's where we love it. We haven't got as many this week because we're catching up for Magic Round, but get in some questions for Foz. I'll be chatting to him probably tomorrow. We'll have a chat to Foz, so gives you a big at least a full 24 hours to get some good ones in. How about this one for future levels projects? It comes from Shiraz Dean. L1 from day one, lads. First time commenting. I love what you guys are doing with the potty. I find myself checking notifications on Mondays and Thursdays. Keep it up. We'll check it again today, brother. Questions for the Levels team. Fletch and Hindy did an alternative commentating stint for the Warriors and Cow games and thought I'd ask the question on behalf of the entire following. Would you three be open to doing something similar? For example, an audio live stream of you guys calling the game where we could mute that awful panel of other people on that panel and watch alongside the undisputed best potty crew going. Something we could do in the future.
I'd like to do that, yeah. I think once we get our own studio and we can sort of muck around with it a little bit, I think that's something that we would really look at.
Yep.
I think that'd be a bit of fun.
The boys do a great job for Hello Sports on Thursday nights. I wouldn't mind a Sunday Arvo game or something.
Because everyone's sitting at home too.
Yeah,
Friday, Saturday, some people are out watching it, pub, all that kind of stuff. But Sunday, 4 o'clock game would be good.
Yep. Yeah.
Roll straight into the review show.
Yeah, could be straight review. No, I needed to still need to go through the notes and get it done on Monday. But yeah, it's something to look for moving forward. This one, all right, it's time to get to April's Player of the Month as voted by the NRL players. So feels ironic that May dominates in April, but the Rugby League Players Association is pleased to announce West Tigers prop Terrell May has won the Player of the Month award for April as voted by the players. May was voted April's Player of the Month ahead of fellow nominees Isaiah Katoa and Hudson Young. This was May's maiden win after impressive start to 2025 season, following Payne Haas winning it in March and Terrell May finishing second too in voting for the month of March. So he's had a great 2 months. The stats for Terrell May for April: 4 games, 1 try, 1 line break, 17 offloads, 14 tackle breaks, an average of 76 minutes in the front row, Mace, an average of 37 tackles, an average of 47 post contact, and 176 total.
That's average, people.
That's average. Doing that on the reg.
Yeah.
So, shout out to Terrell May. What a start to the season so far. And,
outstanding. I didn't think he was going to have this year. I didn't think he was the right guy for – I didn't think he was going to be the alpha for the Tigers. And he's obviously learnt from a couple of hard dudes over at the Roosters and gone, you know what? I don't need to be here. I could do this somewhere else. Tigers, perfect spot. Get the ball whenever he wants, plays massive minutes. And he got empowered by Benji. Be that person.
Got to factor that in for sure.
And he is. He's the truth.
All right, let's move on to the games. We'll kick it off from Friday night. The first game, had to go back and rewatch this, and this was actually a really entertaining game. Sharks 28 defeat the Eels 18. It was a great bounce back for the Sharks, considering they had the quick turnover on Sunday. In the Golden Point game against the Tigers and the heartbreak. And for me, I'm starting to see signs. It's clearer for me anyway. How the combination with Nico and Trindle was working. In my opinion, Nico is, despite the way
he's taken over,
we viewed it, and the dinking and dunking, he's happy to be doing that. He's playing the more traditional 7 role, and Braden Trindle is chipping in at the back end, getting on the back end of shape. Sort of being the risk taker, like the 40-20 kicks were.
Fuck, he's good at that.
Like.
Just lays it.
Like meter perfect.
They're one bounce in.
Meter perfect. Like this, it's definitely a gamble, but because Nico was controlling everything in through the middle, it's allowing Braden to identify those certain things in the game. And I can see why Trindle, Nico, and Fitzy have been happy with their performance over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I like the way that Nico he's attacking the line. Like it's not when you said dinking and dunking, like he's going to the line. You know what I mean? He'll show a dummy. He's here. He's playing at the back. He's squaring up really well. So he's playing. I think he's playing exactly how Fitzy wants him to play. And then Trindle adds a little bit of just class on the end of it. But I think they're working really well together. This is the best they look. Yep,
they're starting to get it in.
Yeah.
Like when I say dinking and dunking, like Nico is still doing that. He's dropping people on a knee. He's drifting across field and he's playing short. But you know what? Teams are starting to get frustrated with it. So Nico's coming up with some nice plays, but he's not necessarily changed anything about it. He's just got nice subtleties now where people are trying to shut him down because it's evident.
Or shut the guy out the back down. Because the block, and they're trying to they're not hitting the front guy, they're trying to just shoot out the back and then try and stop everything. And then he's playing, and then playing short to someone else. Like he's got a little bit of a trick back.
But I feel like they're coming more at him aggressively from A, B, and C. So think about the Britton Nicola one where there's not even a block play for someone out the back. Dylan Brown comes shooting out, bang, he goes through. Last week against the Tigers, he ended up putting someone over through the middle and then nearly put Hazelton over. And, mate, I'm telling you, he's just running off A. And he's running at a tempo where the A and B and C defenders think they can get him. And he's just stepping off the left foot, little tip on. Stepping off the right foot, little tip on. Like, just got enough of a threat with the tempo that he's playing at that it's really setting him up well. And then because a lot of the other times he's just going rip out the back and throwing it to Trindle, and Trindle's going double cut out over the top, kick to
as I said, like, because when they're both on the same side, right? So they know that block runner's rarely going to get hit. And it goes out to Trindle. And Trindle's getting so much pressure because they're sort of second guessing and just trying to hedge their bets. They'll get on that lead guy and they know it's not going to him. Sometimes it does, but then they'll stay square. Then it's a sprint out the back and it's putting too much pressure on Trindle. So he's hitting the front guy, he's dummying, he's going himself. So he's got to put the defensive in about 3 minds and he's doing that.
Yeah, he's doing a great job.
Yeah.
So is Trindle as well. Like, he's taking his moments as well when they're ready to come. There's going to be more errors with Trindle, but I think they're happy to live by that because there's definitely a plan there. But the thing with the Sharks, and this is when I was watching, in hindsight, when you get to watch a game back, like I said before, you get to see the patterns of a team. Sharks will always be that team because they'll beat the teams, even an improved Parra team. But it's hard to declare them because at the end of the year, they've got really good players across the field without having that star power outside of Nico and probably Adden.
Yeah.
Like, Will Kennedy is playing at such a high level. Trindle's coming up with huge moments. Ronaldo Mulatalo is a top winger. Nikita's a top back row.
Nikita, yeah.
He's a top back rower. But, like, are they in key positions? Do I still worry about the middles? Yes. Will they be a top 4 team? Probably.
Can they win the comp?
I don't know. And that's what I was thinking watching this back. It's like, geez, they're a hard team to assess whether they can take the next step or not. Because I think they'll win these games all the way through now, the origin period. They'll beat the teams that they're supposed to beat. But I still worry about them against better roster at the end of the year, whether they can take the next step.
Yeah, I think it's quite even this year, right? And I think a team like the Sharks...
That could help.
Yeah. Yeah, because the Penrith aren't that dominant. The Broncos are beatable. Bulldogs are beatable. Melbourne's beatable. Sharks are up there with all those guys.
Yeah.
So it's going to be up to those key players playing their best footy. Nico's going to cop most of that.
Do you feel like the Sharks and Raiders are sort of similar teams at the back end of the year with the talent?
Yeah. And Raiders are up there as well.
Yeah.
Like those guys coming back from that game on the weekend, like most teams would have lost that. But they've got resilience and they just don't fucking stop.
What about Ronaldo's the finish that he nearly come up with? I wrote down it was almost Izzy Folau but I don't know what Bailey Simonson's supposed to do there. The penalties now for the players tackling players in the air whilst they're competing for a ball and their hands just get caught around the area. And this is my main point of this though, and not even the penalty, which is so far removed now, and it was, in my opinion, a tough call against Parramatta. For any team that thinks it's the percentage play not to compete for balls, for kicks in the air, should just go and watch Ronaldo Mulatalo. He competes for almost every kick, and even if it doesn't lead to a try straight away, it can lead to a penalty like the Bailey Simonson situation. And then a little bit later on, he put pressure on Isaiah Yonge. He had a really good game too, by the way. And he just comes up with a drop. You've just got to be able to compete.
Like Newcastle, they never compete. It's so dumb, and that's coached into them.
Has to be.
You're not making a decision out there. I'm not going to go. I'm just going to let them catch it and then tackle them. You can't do. There's too many. They are so skilled. These outside backs and fullbacks, centers and everything. Zach Lomaxes. They're going to jump over you, grab the ball, and just fucking score. It is. You got to get up and compete.
Yeah.
I love that about Cronulla. They compete on everything.
I feel like it's definitely harder.
It's a play.
If you end up getting good at it too, it's a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Some of the fullbacks are smaller in stature.
Like Marju and all that, they just stand there.
Well, remember,
he'll fucking climb on his back.
It's not like we have Tommy Turbos and Latrells of fullback positions anymore, like the Jared Haynes of the world. They're Dylan Edwards, they're Isaiah Yonge, they're Ryan Pappenhausen. All those guys are 5'8", 5'9". If you got someone that can jump over him, like Ronaldo Mulatalo, 6 foot, good leaper of the ball, then go up and compete.
Beautiful
for it.
Timing.
Yeah. As for the Eels, you can see the influence of Mitch is evident straight away. Yeah. The two that have benefited the most, is obviously Dylan Brown. Come up with some nice plays again in this one. He's got his running game back. He's freed him up a little bit. But even Junior with the leadership through the middle, like Junior was captaining the club at the start of the year. And when you've got your main chief playmaker out and you're the interim captain, you could see Junior had so many things that were, I guess, getting him flustered throughout the games. And there was a couple of games where he played well, but like the scoreline was getting away from him and you could see that was affecting Junior Paulo. So those two guys have been the two, I believe, that have benefited the most by having Mitch
Dylan Brown, but
yeah.
Jeez, like he's had a real rough start to the year, obviously with the Newcastle stuff and then not playing, that well. Now he's just like he's back to Dylan Brown stuff. Yeah. So that's all you can ask for if you're a Parramatta fan. Yep. Just him having a crack. And he just feels a lot more comfortable with Mitch Moses out there. But he makes such a difference. His kicking game, his leadership, he's obviously highly respected out there. But that kicking game, as we said before, the difference when we played him was Burton.
Yeah. Yeah. Mitch's willingness to defend and get involved in tackles is so much better than it was when he was a youngster coming through.
And it's not like
he's got a complete game now.
And it's not like he's gotten bigger. He's probably put about 4 or 5 kilos on.
Yeah.
But he's just strong. He's just strong and he wants to tackle.
Yeah.
Before, when he was at the Tigers and at the start of his career at Parramatta, just wasn't a good defender.
It was attack. It was
just attack, and you could get away with it. But now he's like, all right, well, if I want to be a complete player, if I want to play Origin, if I want to play at the highest level, I need to be a fucking really good defender. And he is. So that's credit to him.
I also had my reservations on Yongi when they first signed him. I sort of didn't say anything. I was just a little bit apprehensive. But, geez, you can see already, one thing I've noticed with Yongi, Mace, and you're big on this as well, you can see his body shape is transforming already. Normally you don't get that. Normally you get that from year to year. I reckon the way he looked physically at the start of the year was still like a bit of a New South Wales Cup under-21s player. But I'm starting
body-wise?
I'm starting to see a little bit more shape.
Legs are good.
Yeah, he's looked good.
Who does he remind you of? He reminds me of a young Tuivasa Sheck when he hit the scene about 2012, 13.
Ooh, that's a huge comp.
Yeah, because you have a look at the body type. He wasn't like he was now.
Yeah.
Tuivasa's stacked.
Yeah,
right? Quad wise, arms are massive, but like Yongi's got a mad left foot. You know what I mean? Like he's a highly skilled play. He's fast. You know what I mean? Competes with everything.
Yep.
And the only difference is that two of us had to wait a couple of years to play fullback.
Yeah. Well, they did that hybrid thing with Mini.
Because Mini was Mini.
Yeah. But yeah, I can definitely see with guys like Yongi, there's some similarities with what Riles is trying to do in comparison to Serraldo. So what is he? Just wants players that are going to do a job for him. Jack Williams is probably not a front rower, but what's he doing? He's going up into the front row because Cameron Serraldo is asking him to. And at the moment, they don't have an out-and-out front rower for that position. The young kid, Semrani, great kid, right? He's a centre winger. He played on the weekend, come off the bench and played back row for him. Like Jason Riles just wants players who are going to represent the jersey and do a job, even if it means at the detriment of what their preferred position is. And those are some of the signs you can see from the players that he's put in. Young players who want to represent the jersey. And even the way after the game, and I said this about Ciro, go back and watch a couple of years ago when people weren't as glowing about Ciro. The way he handled presses and the way he took full accountability and told people to be patient about what the journey was going to be like. Jason Riles did that again in the presser after the game. Super impressive.
Yeah.
They kept on begging him to talk about a couple of the calls that went against him. He refused to do it. He said, we want to take that out of excuses out of the mindset of what we're trying to do here at Parramatta. That's what Webster's done at the Warriors. That's what Ciro's doing at the Bulldogs, and that'll serve you and might not help in the short term because you won't get the calls, but in the long term, the mentality will change at the club.
And these are all from young coaches. I love that, how they're learning that. Got a few players on the edge there that they need to really, really sort out. That young Kartonga, 12.
Yep.
Some really crucial mistakes on the edge. They need to be on the same page because that's where most teams are attacking, is their left edge. Left edge. Usually it's the right edge.
Yeah.
Katonga's on that left, and he's making some really bad mistakes. And
He's having a real crack though.
yeah, he has a
having
real crack. But
He's just
like,
raw as hell.
he's only just
raw
learning
as
the
hell,
game.
yeah.
Like he's got so much skill, but like
I think there's
that's-
something there with him.
No, there is
Yeah.
because he was at the Bulldogs last
Yeah,
year.
I know,
And at
yeah.
the start when he was at the Bulldogs, he had no idea
Yeah.
defensively. And then by the end, he pushed his way into first grade.
He did get a
but he
crack.
wasn't like a genuine starter. Now he's a starter.
Yeah, he's playing
It's
big
a
minutes.
fucking different level.
Yeah.
So he's learning because he's going to be a decent player, but like you can't fucking make those mistakes right, like crucial line breaks and stuff like that. Puts pressure on the inside, puts pressure on the outside. You're the linchpin when you're left four.
Yep, he's got to get used to it for sure. All right, the Roosters 36 defeat the Dolphins 26, and we talked about Teddy as your OG bull of the week. The similar circumstances, the reason why I think Teddy's playing at such a high level, you could even compare that, or I think Robbo is sort of going through the same thing as well. Like it's the same circumstances. So my criticism for the Roosters and Robbo in particular the last couple of years has been they've had a star-studded lineup. I reckon Robbo's best year as a coach was around 2021. Remember the year, in the same year, I think he potentially lost Boydie. He lost Jake Friend. One of the Morris boys retired. I think he all got injured and did his ACL. He did a really good job that year to get a Roosters team that had lost a whole heap of players to the finals.
Yeah, into a prelim, didn't he?
I think he got all the way to a prelim or at least the second week of finals. I'm seeing that level of coaching this year for Robbo. And like I said, keep going back to it, is I think there's a lack of, not to downplay what he's doing, but the expectations for a Roosters team are probably the lowest that they've ever been going into a season, especially after they lost week one. But he has done a fucking great job of getting every little bit of talent he's got out of some of these players right now. We talked about Zach Clay before, Sandon Smith, even though he played a small part in this game, played really well the week before. Hugo Savala is a local Bronny boy who's doing a great job. And I just think, some of the other players that were during the time over the last couple of years where I thought like they had too many
ball hawks.
Yeah. Like Luke Keary was a part of the team. Joseph Manu needed his touches. Now it's simplified to Teddy's the dude. Sandon Smith will run the team when he's there. Sam Walker will run it when he's back. And I love that Victor Radley's gone back to the middle.
Victor Radley is playing his best football for years. He's been outstanding. But back to Robbo, like we said it at the start of the year, it's going to be his hardest year of coaching.
Yep.
And it started off a little bit rough, and everyone's like, "Oh God, they might get bottom four," but they look like they're going to push for an 8 spot, and he's getting the best out of these young kids.
Yeah.
This Toya, the fuck,
he's nice.
He give fucking Herbie a bit of a bath, didn't he? Like he got him.
They were good. Like
we got him 1-on-1. Like he got him. Like that was just the old school battle. Bang bang. He hit him with a couple of shimmies. Bang. He got the back row. Was Lemuelu got caught out there once, but like he got Herbie.
Oh, I wrote down off the back of this that the right edge is settled for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Robert Toya, lock him in on the right, and Mark Nuiga-Tuase on the right wing.
Getting better.
Like they can be a good combination there for a couple of years at least.
Really good. Really
big, strong, physical. Got a nice X factor. Got a good skill set. Mark will put a little chip in every now and again. Rob Toya's got you go back to that scrum play where he scored off the Panthers. He's got enough speed to be a difference maker as well.
Yeah.
Remember his first game when he come off the right foot against the Broncos? Yeah. And it was like the really only good moment of the game for the Roosters. Like there's something to work with. But back to Rads. He's a world-class 13.
Yep.
And when he gets to play in that role and be a distributor as well as the physicality that he brings, then that's when Radley plays at his best.
And I think he's their leader out there, him and Teddy. And when he's playing like that, he's digging into the line and he's got really good genuine leads and he's going out the back and then it's like he'll hit the front guy, he'll play short. His skill set is so high. He defends, he's one of the best defenders in the game and he's just, I think he's very, very conscious of the fact that if he cops another big one, it's like he's going to have a fair while fair stint on the sideline. Doesn't want that. His tackle tech seems to be lowering a little bit. So, because he's at that prime size, right, where he cops a lot of shoulders to the head.
Yeah. And also just getting, like, because he missed so much footy and playing on the edge, just getting used to playing big minutes at the 13 again is an adjustment.
And they only moved in the back row, so he didn't have to cop that many hits.
Potentially, yeah.
So, yeah, he's back to being one of the best 13s in the game.
On to the Dolphins, Kafusi, Saifidi and Plath all missing in this game. And I was thinking about it because we've got the Knights game after this, and you could see you sort of take it for granted. Yeah, when Mitch Moses is out, you realise, all right, key playmakers out.
Yeah.
But when you're missing multiple vets through the middle, and they're not like Kafusi at this point of his career is not a guy that's going to have a shitload of really big stats. He's,
defensively, bro.
Defensively, presence, communication, and also just that aura, Mace.
Yeah.
Like for all
you
these
know
guys.
he's going to hit you.
Yeah.
You got to get rid of the ball.
And when I was watching this game in the forward pack, they've got some guys that have been playing well. The Josh Kerrs of the world. Mark Nichols always does a job when he plays. But when you're missing starters, when you're missing starters though, that's the difference. Like rather than guys that come off the bench or start every now and again, like 3 out-and-out starters. And I think Max Plath,
he's gone.
I think he's an Origin type level player. So
I agree.
I was watching them and I was just like, there's no presence through the middle for him.
There was no fear factor at all. Saifidi runs hard as hell. Kafusi defensively, Plath with the ball, without the ball. They work hard. They work really hard. All starters. And, you look at the team sheet before that, if you're the Roosters, and you're like, we're going through the front door. We'll pull them apart. And then that's what Victor Radley did.
That's what he did.
And then Teddy did his thing. Because once you pull that middle apart, they're fatigued. And then that's where Teddy started making his breaks.
Yeah. The Dolphins got an interesting little window coming up too. Like Hammer will be out. So they've got I feel like Trey Fuller potentially could have got injured at the start of the year. That's why he hasn't played any footy this year. So that could be a bit of a rotation.
Did Herbie play fullback?
I don't think so.
No?
They've got another option.
The winger.
Asako?
Asako
could go to
he could play fullback.
He could probably go to fullback for a bit. You wouldn't want to because does such a good job on the wing.
Good finisher, but he's got a great skill set.
Actually, Kurt Donahue played there. He's Mr. Fixer for him. He also is missing in this game as well. He played fullback in the trials.
The Cornwall winger. What's his name? The other winger.
The Cornwall winger?
Oh, doesn't he play for the PNG? He's white, but...
Who are you talking about? Oh, Labert.
Could he play?
No, he's at the Cowboys.
Oh, who plays the wing for Dolphins?
Asako and Bostock. And then Junior Tupou's on the wing.
Okay.
There's someone else. I feel like there's someone else. It's annoying me. That's all right. Dolphins fans, it's a weird little after such a good return to form and getting those 3 wins and beating the back-to-back premiers. They lose to the Raiders last week, heartbreaker, and then they have a quick turnaround and go into the Roosters. So not ideal for them, but whether how much they're affected, they should be okay. I think they'll probably lose their skipper Tom Gilbert. I think he'll still be a part of Billy Slater's best 17, and then Hammer will be missing as well. So interesting.
The only guaranteed is Hammer. I'm not sure about Tom.
Knights 30 defeat the Rabbitohs 4. This was the get-right game that the Knights needed. You could tell there was frustration, especially from KP, that they didn't go on with it. When they started so well, they were so dominant to begin with. And the weather clearly unsettled them. Like after they hit that lead, the sun was out. They were playing good footy. They were going sideline to sideline. Fletcher Sharp was playing unbelievable. And then it started to piss down and they made a few errors. And you could just see, but this is a great sign. You can tell Kalen was frustrated and his energy was up and he knew the Rabbitohs were missing a whole heap of troops and he wanted to go after them and he wanted to win by more. And those are the signs you're looking for from star players when things aren't going well.
Yeah, Ponga was outstanding. They played exactly how I thought they can play. The middles, Leo Thompson was fucking on.
Yep. Again, helped Jacob Saifidi back in the team. Adam Elliott back in the team.
Elliott. Bradman Best played outstanding. Dane Gagai played outstanding. Ponga. Like, look at these names. They're all former Origin players, some of the best in their position. Like, it's embarrassing what they've been putting up in the last sort of 6 weeks, but now...
Despite the outs, they've still had a good roster, haven't they?
Yeah, like a great roster. They've just been out of form, and it's just like, it's been pretty easy to read. Dylan Lucas made a big impact there. I think he's a really good line runner on that left edge, and it allows KP to get around the back and then play some 3-on-2s or hit short on that left edge as well. Yep. So that looked dangerous as hell. And even going right, Gags looked great. They get their shit together, and Cogger played decent enough. Like, he played like a proper 7. That's what they miss, a 7.
The more traditional 7.
Yeah, don't have to do everything, mate.
But look at the meters here off the back of some of these players, like Marzu 220, Bradman Best 219, Gags 209, James Schiller 253.
That's their problem, but like when they come, like they're making those meters now, but like before, like Marzu's making fucking 4 mistakes a game coming out of yardage.
He had that one bad game against the Tigers,
but you can't do that.
But he's probably been their best outside back aside from that game.
He's been great with the ball, but he is a target without the ball. They kick to him, they bomb to him because they think, like he could possibly drop the ball. And you don't want that.
He's got so much better at it though.
Or you can jump over him. You could jump over him because he doesn't get up that far. But he does a lot of work with the ball, but he needs to really improve. Like, and I think he has improved. Yeah, he did have a couple of off games, but like he's play 2s and that are fucking dynamic.
So here's the frustrating part and what I led with, and this is why Kalen would have been like, even though it's a good win and it's a win that can get you rolling. They play the Titans this week. That's another great opportunity for them to get another win back to back. But how do you run for 134, 253, 209, 219, 220, 103, 210, 210 by Jacob Saifidi, 119 from Leo Thompson, 147 from Dylan Lucas, 123 from Kai Pearce-Paul, 148 from Tyson Frizzell, and they only won 30-4 against a team. Like, that's where they needed this game because they lucky that they played a Rabbitohs team. With some of the errors they made after that perfect 15, 20 minutes, it's like they're still
and that's what you can't do against a good side.
Yeah.
That's why they'll struggle to make the 8.
Yeah.
Because they should have put these guys to bed they should have been a 52-4 game.
But if you can now get that win and then have another confidence builder against the Titans team and potentially go on a little run. Like, that's all it takes sometimes. Yeah. You just need that get right game, and that was it for them. Rabbitohs, Wayne was super frustrated, but when you think about all the players they're missing, plus losing Dry Gray throughout the game, Mamazoulis throughout the game, they're just... South Sydney.
They were never going to win this game.
South Sydney have been battered for, it feels like, a couple of years now.
Unlucky. You know what I mean? Like, it just sucks. Cody Walker, Latrell. Like, you're not talking about just like, guys who just fit in. They're superstar players. Cam Murray, like, come on.
Yeah.
3 of the best. They're top 5 in their position.
Yeah. It's not like with Knights,
sucks.
when you're missing Jacob Saifidi, Adam Elliott, and a couple of Mills, they're important players. And then, like, the Dolphins examples that I use. But, like, these are star players, not only for Rabbitohs.
Superstar.
But at their position, I know, and a part of it, they're missing like 3 or 4 wingers. So Tyrone Munro, Alex Johnston, Ravalawa. But I don't know. They've got to find a young outside back to come in because I think, especially with all these outs, to have Campbell Graham on the wing and Ewan Aiken at centres, you've got to find a way to move Campbell Graham back into the centres because I think that's his best position. And Ewan Aiken is a back row at this point of his career now too.
Yeah, left side back row.
Left side back row.
Yep. They get that shit together, then they'll be all right.
They even had Campbell Graham on the wing and Isaiah Tass in the centres, in the right centre. I'd swap even the two together.
Tass is like, he's not playing good football.
And understandably so, right? Like, you're not going to fucking talk about anyone's form at South Sydney when you've got
but he's
6 or
like
7 people.
defensive. Like, I've been watching him. It's awful.
All right, let's get to the Warriors 30 defeating the Cowboys 26. This one comes from Arabags. Hey, lads, L1 from day one. Just want to mention as a Wires fan, what your thoughts on what we're missing? Hate the narrative on the bad fans that flood the chat when they don't feel like they're getting the recognition they deserve. So just want to know your thoughts on how we can go to the next level to be the competitive team that competes with the top teams. Thanks, team. Up to Waz.
This is a good game. This is a good game.
It's a good game. It's a good question because I am still, despite the performances, struggling to declare the Warriors, just like I put the Warriors very similar to the Sharks.
Canberra.
And then similar to Canberra where it's like, I know they're going to be a really good team this year. I'm even confident they're 100% a top 6 team and you can see the foundations, but all three of those teams are just missing something, and I think it's just like a proper star player. But can this be the year where a full-on team's performance gets the job done?
Yeah.
Like, you don't require a Nathan Cleary. You don't require a Reece Walsh, a Payne Haas. It can just be a really good team effort because that's who the Warriors are.
Yeah, that's what they are. They're really they're a good team. You know, you get Fish back.
Yep.
Metcalf's been their best player for the last month.
Outstanding.
They've got a really good team and they work hard. You know, they work hard in defence. I think they're going to be a threat. They won't win the comp. They won't win the comp, but they'll give it a good shake. They could get to a prelim, maybe they could get to the second round of the playoffs, but that's about it.
Currently sitting second on for and against, just behind the Raiders, who are just above them. So 16 points to Dogs, 14 the Raiders, 14 the Warriors. You mentioned him, Luke Metcalf. He has been a really good mate. I don't know. I was hesitant to declare him as a long-term option. That's just my fantasy that's coming through. Could you hear that?
Yeah, it's coming through. Hit you.
But I feel like he can be the guy.
Yeah.
I feel like he can be the guy.
Like I said, I don't think he's a 7. I think he's a runner. But he's figured out, like, he can play 7 and run.
Yeah.
Obviously. Like, he's making line breaks whenever he fucking wants. Kicks good, tackles good. He's their guy.
Yeah, he is.
He is their guy. They've got a great little young bunch. Lecker, haven't seen Lecker, that kid there. Loved your hairstyle, mate. Blonde hair, sticks out.
How much did you love it?
I didn't like it at all. But that's the young kids coming through now. Dye your hair blonde as long as you come out there and you handle your business. And he's doing that.
Like Jamin Salmon?
Yes, like salmon. You know what I mean? So they look like they're going to be in games where I don't think they're going to get flogged at all. You're going to have to put in a really good performance against the Warriors
to even beat them. Yeah,
because they're such a good team. And I think they went a gun year, 2023. 2024, they were off. Now they've found that balance. You get Fish back in there, then you're talking.
Yeah, they've got no Fish, no Rog, no Dallon still.
So 3 of those blokes come in, and then these other guys, this is what happens when, you got 3 starters, genuine starters that are coming back, and these guys want to be part of something great.
Sorry, we were talking about Jamin Salmon quickly. We got tagged in a viral TikTok over the weekend from up at Magic Round. Did you see the video of Ricky Stewart walking and the guy yells out at him?
No.
Let me find it.
Didn't you call him a weak-eyed dog?
Yeah, so he's a Levels listener. So he tagged us in the post on TikTok.
Yeah.
Ricky's walking past, he goes, Salmon's a weak-eyed dog.
I saw that.
Did he?
Yeah. I'll show it to you after.
All right.
Shout out to that guy, though.
Yeah, shout out to that guy, L1 from day one. It's clear that he's the dude, Metcalf. Yeah. And even Webby said it after the game. He's like, in the presser, Webby said that he wanted to prove that he was a game manager to begin with. Now that he's done that in the last 2 or 3 weeks,
game breaker.
He's got that running game back and he's been able to balance both of them. I totally agree. He's just in a really good spot. You can tell he's been preparing hard, and all the rest of the team, they're rallying around him. Like, whether we believe it, whether other people believe it, doesn't mean shit.
They do.
Do they believe it?
Yeah.
The Warriors fucking do.
Yeah,
Coach does, the rest of the players do, and the fan base.
They'll be sitting over there across the Tasman thinking, we can win the comp.
Yep.
I think most teams who are in the 8, they obviously think that, but like they're probably genuinely thinking they're like, we can go with anyone.
So
anyone.
So here we go. Bulldogs, do they think they can win the comp?
Bulldogs can.
Do the
Bulldogs
Raiders
think they can?
Do the Raiders think they can win the comp? Do the Warriors think they can win the comp? Do the Storm think they can win the comp? Do the Broncos Yes, they do.
Yes.
Do the Sharks think they can win the comp? And it stops there.
Yes.
Maybe the Tigers just because of the arrogance that's, Jerome and all the confidence that those guys play with. They probably think they can win the comp.
Yep.
Manly, they're gonna need a lot of luck. It's injuries, but if they get Tommy, they probably think they can win the comp.
I just think they wouldn't because they know they lost Paseka and the middles struggle
Do the Cowboys think they can win the comp?
I think everybody at this moment who's in the top 8 and been winning a couple of games think they can win the comp.
Yeah.
And that's a great thing for the NRL.
It is.
Instead of like Penrith going, do Penrith think they can win the comp?
From 15th.
No.
They don't even think.
You don't reckon?
No. They can't make the 8.
I just think after that
and
game
I tipped them to beat the Broncos because I knew the revenge game was what do I keep saying? I've been saying it for 4 weeks. They need a reason to get up because they've done everything for so long. Broncos at Suncorp, Magic Round was the perfect game for the Penrith Panthers to go, fuck you guys, we're still those dudes.
But isn't some like perverse thinking, like winning it from 15th, isn't that mad?
Yeah.
In like
I know what you mean.
Yeah, they're like, fuck you cunts, we'll do it like this. We'll do it the ugliest.
We've done it every other way, but 15th.
That would be crazy if they did it that
God, if they do that.
Second on the ladder, top 4, addressed all that. Cowboys. You said this, Mace, just before Pompey took that intercept. We were sitting there and Mace Lane Dave to me goes, the Cowboys can get them still here if they don't watch themselves. Then Pompey took an intercept to the house, and that was the difference.
Yep.
It was one try difference. The Cowboys come home in the second half. They've clearly got the ability to score points in a quick manner, and they've woken up the beast in Jeremiah Nanai. That reality check at the start of the year for Jeremiah, he was again really good in a beaten team. His physicality going
strong.
Just the energy after that hit on, who was it on? Aaron Clark, when he shot out of the line and hit Aaron Clark.
He's been outstanding too. And he's hard to hit. He's very, very, he's built low to the ground.
Yeah. But like Jeremiah wasn't doing that in the last couple of years.
Nah.
Hitting and he's chahooing and all the boys are coming in and they all love him.
Yeah.
You can tell they all love him. When you embrace someone like that in a moment like that, you can tell they love him.
He's playing Origin level. I would be picking him in Origin.
Yep, I think he'll be.
Because of his defence and because he's willing to get the ball, tough runs, instead of relying on that, instead of sitting out there on an edge and just waiting for the perfect ball, he's looking for it. He's looking to hit people. That's Origin.
Credit to Todd Payton.
Fuck yeah.
Awful 3 games to start the season. I thought they were wooden spoon candidates. They have lost this game, but they were really good. They come home. Credit to Warriors because they just did enough to win the game after the good lead that they'd come up with, and they played so good in that first 40 minutes, the Warriors, and then the Cowboys still nearly got them. So Did and Drinkwater, they've just been taken their game to a next level. But Jason Tomalolo, his second stint, and Toddy Payton mentioned this in the presser after, his second stint's always been his best stint.
Yeah.
And he's getting that back, and I just think he looks healthy, mate. Those knees, whatever they've been doing.
Happy.
He looks happy. He's content with his role. He's starting again.
Yep.
And then he's having a break, and then he's coming back on for the last 20, 25 minutes.
What's he playing? 50 minutes?
About 50 minutes per game.
That's perfect for him.
About 50 per game.
Perfect for him at this stage in his career.
Still, I think
like he was playing 70, 80 in his prime, but now, you get him. I think he's playing 25 minutes his first stint.
Yep.
That's solid.
Yep, he is.
Comes off. I think Neem comes on for him.
Yep.
And then he finishes, and then he gives you a second stint.
25. Yep.
I love it. I love the way he's playing.
All right, let's get to the Tigers versus Dragons. This was another fucking good game, back-to-back on the Saturdays to finish off. The Tigers, very similar, did enough in the first half just to hang on, and we'll get to the Dragons and poor Jaden Sewer. But you could see clearly that there is just a different energy about this Tigers team. The one part that stood out to me was when Brent Naden made an error in the first half, and it was just... and I'm talking about the energy and like all these different characteristics that a Jerome Luai-led team have. Jerome coming over, grabs him, ex-teammate from the Panthers, made it sure, got eye contact on him, Mace, grabbed him, don't worry, we got you. Taruva comes running off the opposite wing to get involved to do the same thing. There's They've obviously gone through a tough couple of weeks.
Yeah.
They got a much-needed wing last week. You can tell that they've put everything behind them with the Lockie Galvin situation, and they think they can win the comp. Like, we talk about the arrogance of some of these teams, or maybe maybe it's not as attainable as we think from outsiders looking in, but that doesn't mean shit if they think it, right? And that sort of mentality will win you these games against the Dragons.
Taruva, I've been impressed with him. I was harsh on him before with all the Galvin stuff. He's doing things. He's even when he come off his wing and he jammed some bloke, he dropped the ball, didn't carry on. Didn't carry on at all. Like, I think someone's had a word to him and go, just play football, mate.
That
Get ready for your football.
Not necessarily the situation with Lockie, but that Para game would have humbled him.
Yeah, it did. It did humble him
because he had a rough outing.
He did, and I think and I think he's one of the premier wingers in the game.
Yep, agreed.
And now he's just playing football. And that hug from when they scored that try,
that was
when
cool.
Luai and Galvin embraced.
Yeah.
That was genuine. Wasn't bullshit. It wasn't for the cameras. It's nothing. It's like all right, mate, let's just go. Let's just win games.
Two guys with different circumstances that just want to win for their club.
Yep.
And that's what that
and
was.
And Galvin, like, credit to him to put, this is a 19-year-old kid we're talking about, to put all that shit behind him and not to be carrying that weight and be like, fuck, you guys didn't back me and everything like that and blah, blah, blah. They obviously had a meeting and they said, yeah, we do back you.
Yep.
Let's just fucking go out there and compete and let's win games.
And also, you've got to go to the Luai side of it as well. 4-time championship champion, been in a really good system, been a leader at Samoa. He's a leader there at the Tigers. You've got to give him the same amount of credit.
Oh,
you give Galvin for sure.
I do. Luai and Galvin, they're the glue to this team. Appy.
That was an awesome
Terrell,
moment to see them
that was a great moment.
Jump and hug
great
him.
moment.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Credit to Benji as well.
Yeah.
That whole thing, because this could have really pulled this whole club apart, but it didn't. It galvanized them. I keep using that word, but it's fucking the only word that makes sense.
Word for it. Yeah.
You know, so maybe they needed something like this.
I think they're a top 8 team.
Yeah, they are.
I think they're a top 8 team, eh? And I know he missed a few kicks in this game, but Adam Dewey, geez, he hits a good, he hits the ball hard. Feels like he's one of the, it's only a little thing too, but I think it's a big thing in this competition because I think the game's going to be close this year. Goal kicking. Yeah. Like, I'm looking at some of the teams and I guess the one hesitation that I got with the Warriors with Luke Metcalf's kicking at the moment, he doesn't hit a sweet ball. He reminds me of Sam Walker. Remember when Sam Walker hit the scene?
Yeah.
Remember he couldn't even make the distance sometimes?
Yeah.
Sometimes I think that when I watch Luke Metcalf, when you've got a kicker like Adam Dewey who can just fucking bury it, and I'm just spitting all over the Red Bull.
Yeah, but Metcalf can kick him now. He's pumping him from 50.
Yeah, 50 with the wind. With the wind. Go watch all his conversions from the last fucking 2 or 3 weeks and tell me if you think he hits a sweet ball. He hits him okay. Warriors. Oh, now I'm going to piss off the Warriors.
He's not going to be like a...
I'm telling you, there's levels. Adam Dewey, the way that Adam Dewey and Valentine Holmes kick
who do you
a ball,
reckon hits it? Who hits the ball the sweetest?
Moses.
Nah.
Moses is up there. Nathan, Stephen Crichton hits a sweet ball.
He's 22 straight.
Is he?
Yeah.
Stephen Crichton hits a sweet
The
ball.
winger for the Dolphins.
Sarko.
Sarko hits the sweetest ball of all of them.
All right,
and then it's Val Holmes.
Let me go. So Sharks.
I'm not saying he's got the best average or anything like that, but he hits the ball perfect.
Even when Nico gets up to kick a ball, I'm not totally convinced.
Nah.
What about Souths at the moment? They got Graham Arnold in for their kicking. Has that improved anything, do you think?
Graham Arnold, the ex-Socceroo coach, they try to get Graham Arnold to work with Jamie Lyon back in the day.
Fuck off.
So Jamie Lyon, because Jamie Lyon is just not that personality. Like he was,
Did they get him in there?
Yeah, the Manly club. We went through a period in
Totally
2013 where we were scoring heaps of tries, but not kicking goals well. And Killer just went through this funk. But Killer always had the ability to be, and I talk about Jamie Lyon, to kick big kicks when it mattered the most.
He was never a natural kicker.
He could go 2 from 6 against the Warriors when they weren't good that year, and we pumped them, and then turn up against South Sydney in a prelim final and go 5 from 5. That's the kind of weird guy Jamie Lyon
Killer was never like a natural kicker.
All right, let's go.
Just a natural, he could just do everything.
Let's go through confidence levels of kickers for a little bit.
Yeah, okay,
fun.
let's go.
All right, Sharks, Nico Hines. I'm going. So got this. We got thumbs up, thumbs down, and in between.
He's there. He's
Yeah.
there.
Like he bends them sometimes. I don't think he's got full control
Beckham.
of the bend. Mitchell Moses, tick. We like Mitch. Roosters, Sam Walker. Who's kicking at the moment for him?
I think Sandon Smith, isn't it?
Well, Para also have
It is.
Zach Lomax.
Sandon
yes.
Smith. Sandon Smith.
Sandon, Sam Walker, Dolphins, Sasako, tick. Knights, Kalen,
At the moment.
yeah, at the moment. Rabbitohs, Latrell, tick. Like big moments, Latrell's and
beautiful striker of the ball.
and strikes them beautifully.
That's Graham Arnold.
Yeah.
Heaps.
Who else is kicking now? Latrell's out. They're not even scoring, so it doesn't matter.
Fucking whoever's kicking. who cares?
Warriors, Luke Metcalf.
I like it.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Go and watch them back, please. for me.
Okay.
They're not convinced.
I'm only going off the 50-metre fucking goal.
Drinky. Drinky's
But he strikes them really well.
Go and watch Drinky. Tigers, Dewey, bang, strikes the ball well, like him.
Yeah, I'm fucking down. I'm like that with Dewey.
Okay.
Because I reckon he puts too much fucking curve on it.
Metcalf's kicking at 61.1.
There you go.
fucking-
61%. I knew it.
Oh, yeah, it's goal conversion rate. Yep, that's right.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
sweet.
bad, it's
Give me
bad.
some stats after this because I'm going to. So, Val, tick.
He's one of the cleanest strikers.
One of the
but
best.
he nails it.
Critter, tick. And Matty Burton, tick.
No, Matty Burton.
Well, Matty Burton's the reason Critter doesn't kick every week. So, Matty's must be decent.
I think Critter just doesn't want to kick.
I'm with you. I'm more confident
Because
in
they
Critter.
reckon Critter, they reckon he's one of the best goal kickers. He didn't have to do it because Cleary was so good.
I'm with you. I would have Critter. But for whatever reason, if they've
I would
got
have Critter instead of Birdo.
Yeah.
Critter's at 87.1.
What's Birdo at?
Let's have a look.
84. 84%.
Keep talking. I'll come.
78.
All right, I've got it. He is at 77.8.
Told you.
Fucking
both,
said
yeah.
70. Exactly.
Yeah.
Does Critter want to kick butt?
Don't know.
At 22 straight, surely you want to kick.
Yeah, take that shit.
What, has him hit 33? That's the one where you were saying everyone's trying to score in front of the post.
Yeah.
All right,
week.
Titans, Jaden Campbell.
He just got beat by Reynolds. Adam Reynolds.
What about him?
Where do you sit with him?
We're getting there. We're going.
Okay,
Let's
sorry.
go down the list. Titans, Jaden Campbell. Didn't. What's Jaden? Find Jaden Campbell. It's not that bad.
75.
Nathan Cleary, big tick. Adam Reynolds, big tick. Raiders, 20. Fogarty, tick. And Storm, Pappenhausen.
He's at 81.
81 JC?
Jaden Campbell.
JC's a right
They
81.
always score in front.
He don't.
I know.
Carpenter scored 80% of their
I haven't
tries.
seen enough.
Yeah.
I haven't seen enough.
Nah, Jaden
Campbell.
Campbell's
He's still
Yeah. Pappy's Meany's better.
Yeah.
Yeah, Meany's better. Meany's better.
But he's
And
still
Who had the bye?
Para.
Ruben Garrick.
Para.
Ruben Garrick. Ruben Garrick's good.
Yeah, Rubes is good.
Ruben Garrick's good. There you go.
Meany's at 84.6.
Yeah.
Quick, what were we talking about? How did it get to that
Fuck
anyway?
knows.
Oh, Dewey. Yeah, there we go.
It's your fault.
What do you reckon Dewey is then?
Dewey would be
81.
Are you
Nah,
just on
70. I reckon he's like 76.
Are you just on the season? Wait, are you just
Yeah,
on
I'm
the
just
season?
looking at this season.
On the season, Adam Dewey is 82%. No, I'll go higher.
No,
84.
no.
What are you at?
76.
71.4.
Yeah, see? He fucking misses heaps. Because he's always fucking he's missed so many.
It's because they always score on the wing.
No, because he's on the sideline a fair bit.
Yeah.
But he just fucking he hasn't nailed it. He's a good kicker, but he's not. They're scoring out wide a lot.
Do you have a kicker conversion?
Me,
Yeah.
my last game for Newcastle, there was a.
We've had this story
it was the last one, and I'm like, I'm not about that shit. Kids go, let's have a kick. I went, fuck off.
That's why I brought it up. I know this.
Yeah, I'm just like, nah. He goes, it's your last game for the Knights. I don't give a fuck, mate.
You got both of us with that one.
I don't care.
Lucas
Yeah.
got us a beauty with that one.
Yeah, I said, kick,
Buller.
give it to someone else.
Dream Buller. Geez, I like Dream Buller.
Yeah.
I like Dream Buller. I told you.
He's gonna be
I
good.
told you. I look for certain things. I look for characteristics.
I know.
I'm watching that documentary. He grabs the fucking
Yeah.
log. He tried to run up the and it resurfaced this week too. I think they finally put it on the socials. I don't know why they took so long to put it on their socials.
Can he play Origin?
Ooh, I need to see more for Origin. I need to see more for
Because
Origin.
you have a look at I think he's New South Wales. Dylan Edwards, I'll give him 2 more years. Mm-hmm. Teddy's done. Not done, but you know what I mean? No, fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
He's
I know.
at the end of it.
By the time
he's
Buller
going to come, by the
becomes-
time in
yeah.
2 years, who is the next New South Wales? Because Pappy is he's 27, but we're not looking at him like he's the future of New South Wales. 19, 20 years old, Dream Buller, 6 foot 3 or 4, skill set high,
Silky.
runs fucking hard,
Good engine.
beautiful in the air. Oh, is he the next guy up?
So, yeah, Dream Buller has revealed he wants to play State of Origin, but
Yeah.
he's born
So
in
this
Auckland.
will
Born in Auckland.
is predicated on
Yeah, he's a Kiwi then.
how
He's eligible to play for Fiji, Samoa, New Zealand, and Australia.
He's playing for New Zealand.
He could also represent Queensland, provided he doesn't.
fuck off, Van Buller. Just don't want him.
He left New Zealand at the age of 13 when his family relocated to Queensland.
Well, as soon as Buller comes out and says who he wants to play for,
He left New Zealand.
He goes, I'm
13.
eligible for Queensland, but I don't know. I'd like to play for New South Wales, he told the publication. This is back in, let me find when this article is from. This is August 7, 23, this article.
There's finally a reverse. You haven't had one of them in a while. Normally it's the other way around. Everyone's like New South Wales eligible, but they want to play for Queensland.
he's playing for the Tigers and he's been down here for a while. Nah, we don't want him.
All right, we'll take him. Kiwis.
No, we want him. I'm just thinking who is our next guy up? You know, like these guys like Drinky and all these sort of shit, you know what I mean? Like they're all getting old.
So Sharks, Sharks and
Dream
Eels.
Buller, and just say Queensland.
Sharks and Eels don't have
Ponga's
anyone.
does
Teddy.
Ponga have it? And then you got Reece Walsh. You know what I mean? Like, so if he's thinking about if he wants to play Origin, Reece Walsh, when he gets his shit together, is the next their next guy there for 5 years. More. You know, like Ponga, he could have it for the next 4 years, 4 or 5 years. If it'll be Dream Buller it'll be Walsh and Ponga. But if Buller wants to sort of go, okay, give me the New South Wales job because he's eligible, I'm not saying I hate it.
I'm just looking. There's no
I know.
obvious starters
That's what I'm
anywhere else. Yeah, you're right. Mace.
Yeah.
It could be
There's the pathway to
couple
New
of
South Wales.
Zay Yongi, where's his background?
Kiwi.
Yeah, it's Kiwi. Fucking away.
Or way longer too.
Proper.
I think he come over at even a 15.
And I
16.
don't think he would even want to play Origin. Of course he would be, but it'd be.
The last name Yongi.
Yongi.
Yongi is that's Māori. All right, Flano, let's get to the Dragons. They'll obviously be furious with losing this game. I really feel sorry for Silva. He's one of the. He's a guy.
Oh fuck yeah!
He's a guy that's all effort, gives 100%, but that
Happens.
It
I've never seen it happen.
it cost him the game. Like you can't
did.
deny that.
It did.
Like very rarely can you go back and look at a result and go that one specific moment cost him the game, but it did. Not only does he drop the ball over the line, which would have made it, I think, 22-16 or something at halftime. They go the other way, and it ends up becoming 28-10.
And the Dream Buller took it to the house.
Took it to the house, and they lose 34-28. Like fuck.
Yeah, and there's a couple of games that I said little moments,
Yep.
and it cost them the game.
That's a big
You
moment.
know, I didn't think it would,
Yeah.
but I'm like, that could possibly cost them the game. And it's he's over the line. It's just, did someone hit it out?
No, hit his
No,
own knee.
he's just
Nothing.
just
his knee.
unlucky. Not unlucky, just fucked. Just put it down. And obviously he tried. It just didn't work out. And James Sewer is all heart and soul.
Yeah, he's a
and he
gun.
had a mad run. It was a great run. Beautiful, fucking footwork. And he got outside, threw a dummy. Just,
He's also
It
a
happens.
chance. He'd be a chance for Origin too.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, back in
he's going to be back. It's going to be either him or Nanai. Nanai's going to be.
him, Nanai for more.
I could put Nanai on the bench.
Gilbert.
I think I could put Nanai on the bench because he's been playing so good off the bench for the Cowboys.
Well, remember he was playing for Billy, and then after game 2, Billy dropped him, and then didn't bring him back for game 3. But he's been there before.
Because he wasn't aggressive. You know, now I'm like, that's what I want off the bench.
No, Jaden Sewer started from last year, I believe.
Yeah, and he missed the last game.
Yeah.
But didn't. Yeah, but Nanai played as well.
Yeah, he did. Love Egan, love Hamish Stewart, love Toby Couchman. That's the cornerstone. That's the rebuild at the Dragons. Just wanted to make that clear. I keep saying that every week. I know they're just fucking a couple of young goers, and that's the sort of the forward pack that I've been trying to build. Yeah, King Tongia. He had some really nice touches. Nice little no-looker for Egan to go over and score the first try of the game. Doesn't really have.
Is he the answer?
Doesn't really have a kicking game. Doesn't really have a kicking game.
Well,
so
that's a fucking problem, isn't it?
Only had 3 kicks where Flano, for whatever reason, this is the one bit.
And Flano's got a pop gun.
This is the one bit that I found confusing. So Lockie Ilias basically did all the kicking when he was playing. When Lockie didn't play, Kyle Flanagan goes and does the kicking. But why didn't Kyle Flanagan chip in for some more kicks when Lockie was playing?
Because he's not that good a kicker.
But one kick, Mace, against the Dragons, one kick Kyle Flanagan had. So my big thing is he had one kick as a 6, so, and then all this pressure was on Lockie, and deservedly so because he's a halfback. But how do you go from one kick against the Eels to bringing in a youngster and then deciding that you're going to have like 14 or so kicks? It felt like he had on the weekend.
Yeah.
I didn't see the exact stats. Atkinson is coming next year. He's got a pretty decent long boot.
So I look at Flanagan and go, if you need to nail something, it's your short kicking game to build pressure. You know, all these little things. And I saw a couple of kicks there, just, you know, they go dead. You know what I mean? Like the little deft touch that you need, like, you know, when Adam Reynolds can get the ball back, most good halves can get the ball back, they angle it back at the post. They do all these little tricks. You know, like Flanagan needs to improve that. He wasn't like that at the Dogs either. So, you know, like you know, he's been playing really well this year. He's been doing enough to hold his spot. There's not really that much pressure on him, but
Flanagan's just before we move off that, he's a hard assessment.
Fucking oath.
Because I fully agree. When he first started, you could see that he had definitely some improvements that he needed in his game. I reckon he's been arguably one of the more improved players over the last couple of years, but there is the perception every time he has a bad game, and sometimes, you know, or off moments, the nepotism will always be raised because of the father-son combination. And it's not like it's out and out clear like Nathan and Ivan. It's similar to like you go back to Brad and Jake, where Jake, I'm telling you right now, I watch games closely where
that was a fucking joke.
Nah, but listen, Mace, at points of the career, at points of the times that he was playing, they were bad because they were missing Mitch Moses. That was a huge factor as well. There were times he would have good moments, and then people just couldn't not see it because it was associated with the nepotism that come with it.
Like me.
Yeah, but not you all the time, like the fans, and then there was pressure that was built for it. And that's my point with
what
this.
What got me was the grand final.
What, did he come off the bench?
Yeah, we should have put Nathan Brown or someone in there. I didn't need him.
Yeah, anyway. But like when he actually played in position when Mitch or Dylan were out, and this is what I'm getting to with Flano, whenever I wonder, I just feel the pressure, what the pressure would be like, because I'm looking at the halves now and they're what's the halves going to look like? Because if this King Tonga, for me, he looks like an out-and-out 6. They've signed Daniel Atkinson to come next year.
So you think he's a 6, King?
King Tonga, I think, is a 6.
So do you think Flanagan can play 7?
Well, I think Atkinson's going to play 7. So what's the conversation look like between him and Kyle? And what if that doesn't happen and you lose or a young player with
Atkinson for next year?
Atkinson next year.
Yeah, we'll fucking deal with it next year.
Well, that's the thing, but those are the conversations, and that's why the filling out process now in the next couple of weeks is important. Because
interesting. Because like Ilias is there to play halfback.
Yep.
Right? And if this kid looks like a 5'8", then it's going to be up to him and Flanagan.
By the way, Ilias
and Atkinson.
Ilias went back to New South Wales Cup and didn't sulk and had a really good game from all reports. So shout out to Ilias for going back and doing that.
He's been in that position before because it happened last year.
He only played 2 games before fracturing his leg.
He got injured.
Yeah.
Did he get dropped last year?
Yeah, he got dropped, but he played 2 games and then he had that real fucking gruesome injury. So he actually didn't play that well when he went back down last year because he was knocked around a little bit. So I love the attitude that he's gone back down with this year because, as we're talking about with Dave, you go and make sure you do the right things if you go down there. Jacob Little again. Jacob Little.
It's fucking good.
Here's one for you. Cowboys, next year losing Reece Robson. Go get Jacob Little.
Yep, I agree. He's a gun.
He's a first grader.
Yeah.
He's become a first grader now.
But how many years does Cookie have?
I think he signed a 2-year deal, maybe 3-year deal. That was a big part of leaving. 2 or 3 years at least.
3-year deal, I think. Yeah, Jacob Little is an out-and-out first grader starter.
And if you're Jacob Little, do you want to stay anyway because Fano's gone with Cookie after you had a good
No,
good
I'd be
year
going
last year?
straight to the Cowboys.
2-year deal.
2-year deal.
End of 26.
Well, if I'm Jacob Little, I think the Dragons have got they're decent. I mean, not saying they're a top 8 team all every year, but the Cowboys are building.
Yep.
They just lost one of the best 9s in the game. Jacob Little could go up there, and Jacob Little's got a better running game than Robson.
Yep.
And he could fit into that system straight away, and they wouldn't lose a thing.
Jacob Little is currently off contract right now. I'd go get him if I was the fucking
Big
Cowboys.
Rod Payton, ring him up and get him now.
They did a
Because
good
his price is going up and up and up.
Well, they went and got a relatively unknown Reece Robson from the Dragons about 5 years ago, and that worked out really well for him, didn't they? All right, Bulldogs 38 defeat the Titans 18. It's one of those starts where you play so well, Mace, to begin with against a team you're expected to pump, and then they got complacent. This is the first time I've seen the Bulldogs get complacent, in my opinion. There's no way the Titans should have scored 18 points against them. They're too good a team for that, but they still win in convincing fashion, 38-18. Plenty of lessons from that game for the Bulldogs, despite the win, in my opinion.
Yeah, obviously bouncing back from last week's performance, getting dominated, right, by Payne Haas and Carrigan and that Brisbane forward pack, and Titans have got a good forward pack. You still got Tino, you got Fodawaker, you got Bert Fermor, and you got some decent people there. So, it was a big job for, we had Satili Tupanua out, we had Curran out, we had Birdo out. So it was a big job for Max King. It was a big, because they got Max King got, he's going to play Origin. Curran, he's going to play Origin. Carraz, he's going to play Origin.
Carraz looked like
they all played fucking awful last week. And then this week they're like, all right, get rid of that shit. We've got to focus on, because even though they would have been super focused on Brisbane, but subconsciously you're thinking, yeah, I'm fucking killing it. Then you get humbled. Proper humbled. Then you come out and you do the job against the Titans.
Yep. And like I said, they could have been better. But anything that happened basically in and around Connor Tracy and Jacob
Connor Tracy was great.
Connor Tracy's a good player. Connor Tracy's
jeez.
If you're talking about players that Origin type, Dylan Edwards type, Connor Tracy's just the younger version of Dylan Edwards. In probably
not younger. I don't think he's, how old is he?
He'd be 27, 28, I reckon. He's been around for a while, hasn't he? But geez, he's taken to this role well.
Yeah.
And he just plays in the system so well. He's a good player.
I rate him.
And
Kraz was outstanding. Critter was outstanding.
Critter was good.
Sexton was good. Forward pack was good. Presto was good. Kicks was outstanding. I mean, Kicks had a few errors in the first half, and sometimes halftime's the best thing for Kicks because he can just reset. And Ciro's really good at his halftime speeches. They come out and they're a different team.
Preston looks like he's going to miss 3 to 4 weeks with that crusher.
Was it that bad?
It was not even close.
Why the fuck's he getting 3?
I didn't even think it should have been a fucking sin binning.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I was just like, what's happening here?
I think surely they're fighting that tonight, and he should get off. He should get off.
That's a fine.
He sort of clips the back of Tino's neck and then just quickly falls off it. It didn't look like there's any added pressure. I would be surprised if.
What are they risking by going into the judiciary?
So instead of 3, it'll go to 4.
No, okay.
If they get off, it'll get 2 and downgrade.
So if he accepted it would have been 3, but if they fight it, they go to 4, and I think you can downgrade it to potentially 1.
A fine?
Yeah, even a fine potentially.
Even just the charge 3 to 4, charge should be 1 to 2. Then get off completely. Fucking idiots.
Weaver, he was on the back end of Kicks's hip in that first 5 or 10 minutes. But you know, just with the Titans, and I wrote down it's similar to what happened with the Roosters losing Sandon Smith, but they're just completely different teams and confidence levels at the moment, the Roosters and the Titans, and they just couldn't afford to do that. Like I said in the chat with David Fifita early on, there is Desi talked about JC, Jaden Campbell, and Foz being a chance to play this week against the Knights.
That's going to be a problem. You know, they'll be a lot better because they miss Foz. We had a good chat with him up there at Magic Round. Like, they miss his guidance, his game management, his toughness, his tenacity, his leadership, everything that I just said then. Put him at 7, put fucking JC at 6, put Brimo at fullback. And then you're set, right? You're set. You can do a lot of things there. So it's like, just get that done, mate.
And also watching the press, there's not really much to say about the Titans at the moment, just because it's very hard to judge them without all these key players that are missing, and then you even got the Fifita situation. But
what do you do there?
Des was sort of talking in riddles after the game and sort of not, addressing it properly. But he was just talking about that he's got a few things to work on, and whilst he was doing that, Tino was just not in the whole time. So you can tell that the leaders, and in particular Tino, are fully behind Desi for the situation. And it sucks for Tino because Tino is busting his ass out there. Tino's doing everything he can for his team.
Do you think Fifita is a sort of player, right, who just say he gets dropped to reserve grade, and then you see Ilias get dropped to reserve grade, he plays his best and trying to get back up there, where Fifita's like, who cares? You know what I mean? I'm going to end up back in first grade anyway. I just need to, how long he puts me down here for, one day he's going to need me. You know, like regardless of how bad I play or anything like that, I'm a first grader. You know what I mean? Like he's going to put me up.
He's too talented.
I've got too much talent. I'll go down there. I'll get minutes up and like, you know, like, and
you're right.
Orders. Des just be real stubborn.
Well, you're right. With Lockie's mindset, there's a real possibility that Lockie never plays first grade again. Like that is the runoff. Do I think he will play again? Yes. Do I think he's capable of even just going to the Super League to get some runs back on the board? Yes, that could all happen. But there could be a world in which Lockie literally doesn't play again. So his mindset has to be completely different to a star, talented player with every attribute you want in a back rower to go, I'm being made an example of right now.
Yeah.
The team's struggling. They're still going to struggle without me, and I'll be back in the team. Yes, I can understand. I could see myself thinking that if I was in Fifita's position.
Yeah, and Fifita's probably never been in a position where he's been dropped. You know, he's probably, been in every single rep side since he was like 12, been a prodigy since he was 12, made all the Queensland, Australian schoolboys, this, dream run into Queensland teams and, and then all of a sudden you get this.
Yeah.
It's a very humbling experience. So it's going to be either really good for him or totally opposite.
Speaking of humbling, after the Broncos humbled the Canterbury Bulldogs last week, they come up against the 4-time champions and they got some humbling as well. Jeez. The Panthers 32 defeat the Broncos 8. This is what I was talking about before. If you missed it early on, was the breakdown of someone else, another team. But this was the opponent at the exact right time, the home team at Magic Round on the best day of rugby league with Origin around the corner and people talking about their positions being up for grabs and the Panthers watching the Roosters, in particular Dylan Edwards watching the Roosters and Teddy play really well on Friday night. This was the window for the Panthers to come out and play the way they did. And this could lead to in my opinion, lead to a little mini run before they go on Origin. I think they only get 2 more games where they get to play with the full complement of players. But the Panthers, I don't even know who they're playing. They'll win the next 2 games.
Yeah, they were impressive. I was like, nah, they're gone. Then I was just like, yeah. And they kept the Broncos to 8 points. That's the most impressive thing. You know what I mean?
Ooh, Cowboys
it's just
away.
crazy. And I'm just looking at like when Cleary played outstanding when he scored that try. Do you reckon he would have brought back a little bit of PTSD? It was exactly the same when he come around and just went dummy, whatever it was, and then off his left and then just scored under the post. That would have been, oh my God. So I'm not sure with the Broncos. What the fuck is going on?
With the Panthers, we just talk about the
we'll
Panthers
see the
before
Panthers.
we move
Yeah,
on.
they look awesome.
So the Panthers will have the Cowboys this week at Country Bank Stadium and then the bye
that'd be
going
hard.
into the first Origin game. So they get one more opportunity to tally some votes or tally some points, and they'll get the bye points as well, which will help. Dangerous proposition for the Cowboys back up there at Country Bank, fast pitch. And I've been like, despite the form, like there are players in the comp who have had better weeks, months, or even a better year than Nathan, but Nathan is still the best player in the world. And he let people know on the big stage when everyone was watching, like, this is what I'm capable of. I'm still that dude. And his combination with Blaze is looking so much better. You're starting to see signs. Even last week against Manly, I seen it with Blaze where it's like kicking game was just a little bit better for him. Was able to chip in for 3 or 4 kicks. I think he kicked down the corridor a couple of times in this game.
Yeah.
Like, all right, nice. You can see where he knows and he's picking his moments to inject himself with the ball, with kicking, and I can see that relationship blossoming by the end of the year.
Yeah, because I don't think people understand that they didn't have any reps during the preseason.
No, they were in rehab together.
It's going to take a minute to get their combination going, and it's been starting to happen in the last couple of weeks. So Blaze is looking okay, right? He's still got a lot of improvement. Get your kicking game right, get your defense right. And
Defense is big for him.
They'll look like a top 8 team.
Yep.
You know, their outside backs still worry me a little bit.
Yep.
You know, I like
Garner and Jenkins had a nice game.
I like
didn't they?
Jenkins.
Yeah, Milky Jenkins.
Oh,
goes good.
Milky Jenkins was just on fire.
Brian Toto is apparently close to being right for this week. So
That's awesome.
Jenkins could move back in the centres, Garner to the back row, or
Then
that
there's-
interchange role.
That's a better balance, isn't it?
I tell you what, Garner just like I don't know what it is. I feel like Garner always does a good job in the centres. I think he does a better job than what we anticipate. I feel like he might be a better centre than a back rower. It sounds weird. Like he keeps having good games from out the centres, and it's definitely maybe a full-time position switch could be on the cards for him. But most likely, I think Jenkins will go back to the centres. Brian Toto, because Casey McLean's been the player who's missed out. He's got a huge future, Casey, but
Just this is teething problems for him.
him and Blaze defensively together, and I think
good.
he's also a victim of some Blazers' bad decisions that he makes as
No,
well.
he is.
But just as a pairing, those two weren't going well together.
As I said, like once he gets his, once he knows the system, because obviously coming from Parramatta, their defensive system was awful, and then you're going back into the Panthers. Go to the Panthers, which is the best. You know, so he had to change probably a lot of his habits, and he's only probably getting used to it now.
You know what they struggled with? So for years, this is what he never got enough credit for. The Panthers' left edge was defensively the best edge in the competition for the years that Jerome was there. Now his left edge at the Tigers is right up there. I think they had only conceded 1 or 2 tries early on.
Yeah.
The Bulldogs, another really good left edge. But
It's the communication from the 6 and the 4 man.
it's the comms.
That's what it happens.
It's
like
the
who's the 4 man for? You know, they've been missing Sorensen at the Panthers,
Yep.
right? They've been putting Garner there. They've been putting some other players there. But Sorensen is the key to that whole defensive system.
I think
And then
Isaiah
Blake-
Papali'i started on the weekend.
Yeah, see, and he's come from a whole different system as well. So Sorensen knows that system back to front, and then it just trickles out wide, you know, and then everyone's on the same page. So they're starting to get that together, and that's what makes these fucking guys dangerous.
All right, frustrating watch for the Broncos fans and Madge after they looked like they turned the corner last week. Huge decision coming up. Ezra Mam is free to play this week. And my question is, will he return in the Queensland Cup?
Yes.
Will he return on the bench?
Yes.
Will he return as the starting number 6?
All right.
No.
He's not going back into first grade straight away.
You don't think? You think Queensland Cup?
Yeah.
I'd be doing that as
He
well.
deserves Queensland Cup. He's not Darren Lockyer, GI, all these superstars. And even if he was that, they would if you did what he did, you're going to go back. You have to go back just for one game at least.
So you think the Broncos should add an extra week of punishment because of what happened rather than actually the fitness levels or his talent?
Yep.
That's fair enough.
Just simple discipline. That's the culture that they're setting. You just can't go out. He's first to admit, he fucked up.
Yep.
And then whatever he's got to do to get back into first grade, he's going to do.
Bear in mind, 4 o'clock, Team List Tuesday. The show will be out very close to that too, so the audience will know if he's picked.
It'll be interesting because Madge, if Madge is, he's a hard taskmaster, man. Like if he thinks like, oh yeah, we need him or whatever, like it's just like I think on principle, Ezra Man will be playing one game of Queensland Cup.
They are on 10 points in 5th position, 9 games played, 5 wins, 4 losses. Does that factor into the decision at all?
No, if they'll come in like 15th,
Yeah.
But like so.
What, you think they'd be forced to play him even
little
reluctantly?
bit,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking with Reece Walsh being out, I think Ezra Mam and Reece Walsh work really good together. And then you can put Ben Hunt at 9, and then it'll look clean.
Yep.
But because Cobbo's back there,
What about meeting halfway in the 14 jersey off the bench and then
just not straight away.
potentially not even playing him, just seeing how the game plays out?
No, I think he'll play one game in Queensland Cup, and then he'll probably come back off the bench.
Yep.
Has Madge hinted to anything in presses?
Pardon?
Madge hinted to anything in presses?
No. The good coaches never give any of that shit away. They just
It'd
talk
be interesting to see, but if he gets back in, if he's back in the side straight away, I'll be like, okay, well, you've done your time. You've been out for 9 weeks. How much more can you punish him?
About, yeah.
He's done his time. He knows he fucked up. So if he gets back straight into the NRL, yeah, well, good.
My decision would be, I think I would put him in Queensland Cup as well. I would put him in Queensland Cup for 1 week. I'd want to see him dominate.
Yeah.
And tell him and not like guarantee a spot. Man. Not even guarantee a spot. If I'm Madge, I'm going, here, Ezra, you're going to play, give me 80 good minutes of Queensland Cup. You're in next week. Without saying you're in next week, but just fucking rip in and show me that you're keen to be a Bronco again.
Some sort of match fitness, Like he's not. I'm not sure whether has he been training with the team?
Yeah.
Obviously, you'd probably say that, but it's totally different. And I know he's naturally fit anyway, but you need the timing. You need all the timing. He needs his timing back. He needs to be able to run, pass the ball at full pace, right?
Yep.
To get back into first grade and play how he was.
Cobbo, a fullback, put up good numbers, but just this, and like most, you're never going to look good when you're chasing points like this, but Cobbo is not the fullback that is going to create. This is why my hesitancy around people declaring Cobbo take Walshy's spot. When Walshy's in the team, they're probably not going to chase the points that were required in this game either for a different reason, but you can see Selwyn just doesn't have that tip on, that shape. And maybe you can get that with reps, but right now, that's why I'd prefer Walshy at fullback. But going back to what I said last week, I fully believe that the conditions, the opponent suited Selwyn at fullback against the Bulldogs.
Yep.
Broncos
would be,
I tell you how frustrated they were when Madge took Payne Haas off before half time.
Got him 5 minutes, was it?
Got him a bit of a spell for about 10 or 15 minutes in this game. So you could, that's a clear indication how frustrating.
Yeah, exactly. If they're dominating, you don't take him off.
All right, let's get to the last game. Raiders versus Storm. This was an absolute doozy for a number of reasons.
Sunday ticket.
This was set up to be the game of the round, and it didn't disappoint, but it had a whole heap of drama. Raiders got some favourable calls, but you could see their will to win was causing all this chaos and even the niggle that was going on in this game. And I just think the Raiders right now have a championship middle rotation.
Yep.
So whether it's Joseph Tarpany and Horsburgh, whoever starts with them, whether it's Morgan Smithies or sometimes they do the late change and go with Josh Papali'i, and then Mariota coming off the bench with their middles.
It's been good, eh?
This is 3 weeks in a row now where they've been beaten at the start of the game or in the first half, missed the jump, And I didn't think they were going to be able to do it against the Storm. And like I said, they had some favourable decisions that went their way. They got them back into the game. But they just got a will to win, mate. And that's
It's fucking awesome. Do you reckon they can win the comp?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
I think so too. I think they can muck around and get to a prelim at least. You know, like to beat the Storm like they did, it's like it takes a lot of balls, man. Just be persistent. Just trust the process. Go through the middle. Offloads here, offloads there. Playing footy, Strange playing footy. They're back five, like coming out of yardage. Like they're just hard. They're real hard men, right? They're just like hard to tackle. They got different body shapes. You got Huddy Young on that left edge. You got Nicholson on the other, McNicholson on the other.
Matty Nicholson.
Matty Nicholson.
Nicholson, not Mick Nicholson.
Mick Nicholson. You got the Tamale who finishes well. You got fucking Savage. Like you got these guys that are just like total game breakers. Like if you let one of these guys through in your 20, they're going to take it to the house.
Savage, Weeks, Tamale, Strange can even run 50 on you.
Yeah.
The only one that can't is Fogarty.
Yeah, you give you 30.
10,
20,
15
10.
max. But Nicholson can run 30 out and come off his right foot. Huddy Young can obviously do it all.
Yeah.
They're fucking unorthodox. They like KO Weeks is finally starting to get his engine about him. I think at the start of the year, when you look at some of the mistakes he was making, no, I think he was unfit. I think he wasn't. I don't think he was fullback fit. And what I mean by that is fullback fit is completely different to any other position in the game.
Yeah.
I think the Ks that these teams players run now are fullback.
Oh, yeah. 15 to 20.
You got to remember he was a hybrid player last year.
Yep.
He played some fullback, moved into the 6 role for a little bit, went back to fullback, played some 7, and I think now he's got his fullback fitness because you can see the energy's up and he's getting his hands on the ball more.
Yep, I couldn't agree more.
So, and I reckon he'll play for the Kiwis at the end of the year, 2 KO weeks.
Yeah?
He's lock. Yep, fucking oath. Imagine 7, 6, 1, 14. Because he's
What about Shans?
Ooh,
You could put him at 14, you reckon? Maybe not.
Shanzi at 14?
No, Weeks.
That's a good question. Yeah, definitely Weeks at 14. Definitely.
Yeah.
I don't think you could have Shans at 14.
He's playing well.
Clockstad. You're involved with a couple of names.
Fucking hell.
It's been a big weekend, hasn't it? All right, let's get to the huge decisions though in this game. And the Storm, I'll get to Harry Grant missing in a bit, but geez, they got some tough decisions at the end. I thought the Trent Liero original penalty that they went back for after kicking the field goal was really tough, and the penalty for Stefano and the sin binning of Stefano was disgusting.
Where's he supposed to play the ball? Get out of the fucking ruck.
You got to understand.
Move out of the way.
As a referee, you got to understand the context of the players that are doing what they're doing. That is in Tom Starling's DNA. That's who he is as a player, right? And that's why I love watching Tom Starling, don't get me wrong. But as a referee, you cannot sin bin Stefano for that. Did he, I guess he raises his knee slightly. He doesn't lash out. It's not super aggressive. It was a really tough call.
That was a bad call.
Against the Storm. And I know Papali'i ends up going off, and he should have been sent as well. And this is what the Raiders do, and this is what I was bringing to you with my point. They created so much chaos and it got so ugly at the end that they ended up forcing Jared Sutton and the video referee. I don't know who it was because we couldn't necessarily hear it. We couldn't hear it where we're doing it at the Fanland with all the so who was a part of that. But the Storm just didn't handle that last 5 minutes. I actually agree with the penalty from Liero in front. I want the referee to make that call.
That's ballsy. It's good.
He gets him around the chops. Not much, just glanced him.
But if they're going to be consistent.
If that was the 5th minute, I'd expect a penalty. It's not a sin binning. It's not being put on report, but it's just barely.
Fucking stupid. I mean, I know they don't you've got to be so aware of your situation right there and then. You just don't even attempt it.
it's under fatigue.
I know, but like you're like, oh, I just won't swing. I'll dip down. Anything but that.
But he did get Hudson Young gets chopped around the waist, and then he goes
it's
down.
timing. I know, but I'm just saying, like,
That's
you
a
just
tough
gotta be
one.
so aware of it. Like, I'm just saying, in today's game, you have to be so aware. I know there's fatigue factor. I know there's people. You know, you get hit in the legs and then you slip, and it's just like you just got to fucking back off. It's hard. It's hard. I know what I'm saying. I know what you're saying. You know, but it's just like, fuck, you just got to go like, sacrifice the quick play the ball, get it, mark it, and then just like put pressure on.
I was watching Gus and Gal before I picked you up this morning. I was watching the clip with Gus and Gal.
Yeah.
If that was to decide a grand final
Would you
or
pull
an
it?
Origin, do you think the referees would have the balls to call that?
No way.
This was
No way.
This was a huge game at Magic Round with everyone watching.
If it was like crack straight around the fucking nose or jaw, penalise. Not that.
Shout out to the refereeing over the weekend as well. So much better. You could tell definitely that. Do you know what someone messaged me, and I forgot to mention this on Thursday. We ended up getting a little bit caught up. Is, do you think the video refs and the refereeing over the week before was, and this was a conspiracy theory, that it was so bad on purpose because they might have been getting hammered internally for a couple of weeks that they completely went the other way
100%, I reckon.
and almost made a mockery of the rules and were like to a T, that it had to then lead to a response from the NRL and Annesley and all that?
You putting all this pressure on us,
Yep.
we'll show you. Boom.
They applied the pressure back. If that is the case, I love it from the referees. Because I've said all along, I've been sympathetic to the referees around the decisions, and they were so much better. There were, I don't know, because we're caught up in the Magic atmosphere and we didn't get to watch it as closely, and we got, at a fan lane while the screens were on. But for the most part, I thought they were pretty good. And I disagree with, I think it was Jared Sutton in this game and the video referee. Liero original hit was really rough. The Stefano sin binning and penalty was disgusting. But I think he made the right call. And I think I'd be willing to live with it in a grand final.
No fucking way. Not that. Not the Liero one.
But why do you? Why do you believe it should cost the Melbourne Storm a game in this position? Then
I don't know. It just needs to be more intense, like break his jaw or something like that. Not just like slap him across the mouth.
Yeah,
it sucked. That sucked the way to end. Magic Round. You know what I mean? I would have played it on if I was a ref because it was no intent. You know what I mean? I know he got him.
Players never have intent to hit either, mate. That's the thing.
I know, but when someone's fucking trying to smack the shit out of you, send them off.
Like your plays for the Bulldogs against the Broncos.
That's it.
There was intent to hurt.
Intent to hurt. Yeah. That wasn't intent to hurt. That was just him lining up. And then it just lowers from like there to there, and you fucking, you slip up.
By definition, isn't that mitigating? All these.
That's the mitigating circumstances.
That's the mitigating.
Yeah, that's the mitigate. That's where he should be. There's mitigating circumstances. Let it slide.
So stop saying mitigating.
No. Listen. This is what I want to be clear. Mitigating circumstances come into the decisions around sin binning report and getting suspended. Mitigating circumstances don't matter when you hit someone around the chops. It's still a penalty. Yeah. That's clear. You don't get off. You do not get no penalty for hitting someone high with mitigating circumstances. That is considered with regards to sin binning and that.
Yeah.
That's where you're like, all right, Trent Liero's arm level's down here. He hasn't started up here and smacked someone in the head on purpose, or they never do it on purpose. But in my opinion, that's a penalty, but it's...
Get his target right and it shifted. That's mitigating.
The mitigating came in last week where Trent Liero, I fucking guarantee you, was a chance he could have got sin bin for that last week because they did not factor in mitigating circumstances in a lot of the hits last week. So that would have been frustrating for me. But that's just some clarity. Mitigating, you can have mitigating circumstances and still be penalised.
Yep.
Just not sin bin, suspended and the like.
Shouldn't have cost him the game. I wanted to see a drop goal.
Yeah, would have been fun. What a good weekend of
great weekend
footy. Interviewing Fozzie this week as well. So get your questions in for Athlete.
He's got his new mic.
Got his new mic too, Fozzie. Could be back this week. Maybe we'll ask him about that. All right, we'll see you on Thursday.
See you later.